And we're live. All right, welcome everybody. Episode 16. Timelines are fluid. Welcome, Carl and Mud Rabbit. It was a long struggle today, but you're in. And Angel, welcome in everybody. Say hi.
I want to
Hi.
say hi to Mad Poke.
There we go. Yeah, because he was wondering. Because in the chat, we were discussing how to get you back on because there were some problems, and at one point you were giving up. So it's good to know that. We're all here right on time, 15 minutes late, but that's quite all right.
We all had
Todd,
technical issues today.
your camera also dropped off and couldn't get you on the stream for a couple of times, and I couldn't get a hold of Todd or anybody else, so I didn't even know if you were going to show up. And I'm like, okay, but yeah, my main thoughts in case none of you guys showed up. Thank God you guys are here. But I wanted to start off with U.S. Colonel rejects Zelensky as a hero. That was on the Patriot Fetch. Let me see if I can actually share this screen.
Ooh, you're going to break out your technical skills. Nice.
No, I'm practicing. Got to improve. You know that kind of shit. I don't know.
Practice makes perfect.
Exactly. So if I never try it,
Just giving him a little bit of a hard time.
of course you are. I believe this would be
There you go.
that up there. All right. So I'll be reading along here, and there we go. Oh wow, that's how Marv do it. That's freaking incredible. All right. So U.S. Colonel rejects Zelensky as a hero. It's got opinions and everything else. Yeah, but the narrative concerning the Russian invasion of Ukraine was focused on the heroic leadership of the Ukrainian president Volodymyr Zelensky. And we see that he was also an artist and that sort of thing. But according to McGregor, Zelensky should have remained more neutral instead of trying to be a hero, putting his people at unnecessary risk. Uh, he shocked the Fox News host by implying Zelensky is a puppet for others who are actually pulling his strings, which is why the conflict is getting drawn out. Joe Biden is taking a regional conflict and eagerly turning it into a worldwide calamity, and he's doing that for a reason. And Zelensky is going along for it for a reason. All right, so that was topic number one. So, that was actually on the Conservative News Daily that they were talking about. That was on Fox News. So this is stuff that's finally getting out there. And then we've got your Telegram channel to where you had your last two posts. So you can try and explain those as, let me see if I can, I don't know.
I think Zelensky's playing a part.
Of course he is. Whose part?
He had to make the motion for the UN just to prove that they wouldn't do anything, or NATO.
Oh, well, see, nobody's going to, oh, yeah, please defend me while I thumb this big guy in the eye. No, you can't do that. That's not what works.
Right, but it's a point he's proving to the world.
Yeah, this is true.
But they're also playing on him being Jewish, so they pull in the sympathy card, but then we don't know what kind of Jew. Could be Zionist, which is not Jewish.
And it could be the Khazarian Jews as well.
Well, I'm thinking back to when Trump spoke to him on the phone. I think Zelensky's in on it. I really do.
Oh,
how could it be in any doubt in your mind that Zelensky's not a complete actor? That's all he's.
Well, he is an actor, but whose side is he on and what role is he playing? And it's all one big thing. And that's something that Mud Rabbit was alluding to.
I think the deep state brought him in, and I think Trump turned him.
That would be freaking awesome.
Well, right, so,
however,
well, hold on.
Is Ukraine worth saving?
Go ahead. So we're talking about Zelensky, and what everybody's got to, we've been putting this together for a while. What we are seeing is the fall of the mainstream media. All right, all of these players around the world right now are being super exposed.
They're being paralyzed because Ukraine is the backbone.
Right. But like I'm saying, it's like, okay, so we know there's an actor playing Biden. We know that everybody in the deep state has been shown the evidence, and they have to go along with this narrative, this new narrative, not the deep state narrative, but their narrative. And it kind of it's you know, you got two players going on. You've got the deep state, pulling strings on their puppets, but then you have the controlled deep state puppets or actors that refuse to, it's the reason Biden is an actor is because the original Biden from 2016 or 20, yeah, 20, 2012
Yeah,
to 2016
Mhm.
is that he refused to take the deal. So since he refused to take the deal, they just replaced him.
Well, so, like No Name McCain ended up doing
Refused to
something
take the
similar.
deal, and
Exactly.
his crimes is, I think they're all their crimes are quite severe. So what you're
Depending
seeing
on it.
is the alliance is forcing the mainstream media to broadcast a 30 to 50 year deep state plan fast forwarded within a 1 to 2 year period, or even a 4 year period. Like the way the deep state works is they play the long game. They're in it for the long game. They infiltrate. They make slow moves so you're not
It's like
caught up.
Hydra.
Well, they don't want you completely aware of what's going on. So what we're seeing is, all right. So like they wanted to run out. Originally Hillary Clinton was going to win the campaign or win the presidency, and that was going to be the start of COVID. COVID was going to last. The lockdowns were going to last
Like
not
5
4
years.
years, not 4 years, 8 years. Her 2 terms. They were going to last her 2 terms. That's just COVID. And by the
And we
end
were
of
to
her
be
2 terms,
decimated in that time.
oh yeah, it would have been horrible. So by the end of those 2 terms, there wouldn't be much left. They would have the lockdowns, they would have segregated the patriots. They would have their plan was pretty horrific. So pushing so trying to push it over a long period of time with full control of the mainstream media and the anons.
That's the boiling the frog analogy. Okay,
Mhm.
they just turned up the heat very slowly over a long time because they know through the MK Ultra and through the programming that they've been doing, that they've known for hundreds of years, propaganda isn't a modern invention. Okay, they just
Right.
specialize it to actually get in tone with people's actual feelings and emotional thrusts, and that's how they've been able to manipulate people ever since TV. It's all programming. Literally, everything is orchestrated to
Can't hear
pass on some.
And then to build on Carl's point, I agree. But
Go
the
ahead.
thing that I'm seeing is that they're now panicking because
Yep.
they're being forced to bring it on.
Yes.
Well, they turned up the heat, and now the frogs are finding out they're feeling the heat, and a lot of them are jumping out
Right.
the skillet.
Because the one thing that was always on 17 was that symbolism will be their downfall. So what are they wearing in this nationalist military?
Yep.
Oh, they're wearing the. Oh, yeah, they're wearing the
Nazism.
German.
Right.
Yep.
So
The German Iron Cross.
right. So it seems to me that
Some of them are wearing the black sun.
right, they're forcing their hand. So now
Right.
it's again, they want the masses to be the one to say, aha, I get it now.
But it
They
has
don't
to be
want
the
to
masses
take
because
over
it
the
can't be
news media.
individuals. We've already
Yeah.
had individuals that have said what's going on. Nobody fucking believes them. Why? Because
Right. So
that's what they did after Kennedy. That's why conspiracy theory was a term that was made up by the CIA, just specifically in that mind program to get people to look over there and not over there, which is
And
what they did last week.
it's moving more and more to mainstream. I mean,
Yeah.
Fox will not capture everyone, but
Well, see, MSNBC is going to fall because their viewership is just plummeted. I mean,
right.
there are people that are on YouTube, Rumble, and whatever other channels that are getting more viewers than what the mainstream media is. And now, what does that mean? Okay, so it's less attention, less program, but it's also less revenue because people pay you by how much you are going to get their advertisements out to people. That's why you put your ads into newspapers. You know why? Because everybody had to know the news, and so they would get their newspaper in the morning.
Mike, before you get off on that tangent. So I just want to
Please.
finish this. I just wanted to finish
Go ahead.
this up. So what the alliance is doing is, you know, they just wanted to come in, assassinate all the deep state, arrest them, do trials later, take control of the government, and deal with the backlash of the American people and the people of the world. It's going to happen globally. All countries, all militaries, we're going to do this. Instead, they decided to show the people how bad these people are. Because if they just took control and broadcast,
Well,
hey,
it's
look,
a military coup, and then it's the same
Nobody's
fucking
gonna
thing that
believe
happened in
it.
'63. Same damn
So-
thing that happened in '63.
So what they're doing is they're exposing it. Now, what the alliance is doing is kind of pulled the teeth out of the dog, and letting the dog just gum the population. That's the best analogy I can come up with right now.
But it is. They took,
To reduce the casualties, but you still had to. They had to run out their biological weapons. You had to face the gas hike prices, and it's going up. You're going to have to face and experience the economic collapse.
because they wouldn't have believed that it was going to happen. We could have told them that's what they had planned for you. Oh, no, you didn't. You're just lying.
But
Exactly.
what's interesting, we were calling out bioweapons beforehand, and it was squashed. But now it came to the point of mainstream saying denial. Oh, no,
We
no,
hit
no,
critical
no, no.
mass.
At least now it's seated. It's in the consciousness. What are you talking about biolabs? Why is that coming up as a topic?
Oh,
And
yeah.
if they would have left before COVID, well,
Right.
they could.
I heard that bloody conspiracy theorists talk about biolabs. Let me go back to that brother again, because I was dismissing him. Maybe I need to check what he's talking about, because he was on to something. The media.
See, they also know that, and that's why. I mean, we also have to be kind of careful what we did, because I got a warning when we talked about things that they don't like people to talk about. Which is why I ended up. Oh yeah, I mean, but I know exactly.
Yeah,
But
certain things they
we're
don't
about
like.
to, I wanted to be able to share the screen of your Telegram, but I couldn't. That's why I ended up bringing the Patel Patriot thing, because I couldn't get the Telegram up there. As far as your second to last and last posts on your fall call Telegram, right? Because there we're focusing on March 10th. They released their working with the all right. Ukraine worked with Democrats against Trump in election 2016 to stop Putin. That backfired badly. By Paul Sperry, Real Clear Investigations, March 10th. All right, so working with both the Obama administration and the Clinton campaign, Ukrainian government officials intervened in the 2016 race to help Clinton and hurt Donald Trump in a sweeping and systematic foreign influence operation that's been largely ignored by the press. So that's just one, and you've got another one that we'll delve into again. However, that's why liars have a tendency to always say that somebody else is doing what they're doing. In order to cover up their lie, they're always, oh, look over there. And so while she's dealing with Ukraine, because they've been dealing with Ukraine for a very long time, that's where the Patel Patriot thing comes in. She said, Russia, Russia, Russia. Look, this other guy, he's dealing with the arch enemy, with the guy with the country that we've been fighting against for 50 years. Everybody will believe that, call me back in the 50s, and you had your deal made. So she was
Russia has never been our enemy. Russia was our ally in the World War.
Yes, it was.
This
the
whole
Soviet
Russian
Union
thing has always been a deep state issue. They've never liked Russia. They always pushed this propaganda. From the time I was a child, I remember hearing it.
But see, that's also what George Orwell wrote in 1984.
Yeah.
The world will be divided in three, and two will be warring against one at all times. The alliances will change in order to maintain control of the public, because as long as you have an external enemy to fight, you don't focus on the internal enemy that's taking everything away from you.
Right. But Russia's always been our ally. They've never been our enemy.
Right. And the deep state of Russia resides where? Ukraine. And then, like you said, if we go back to history.
Absolutely.
What is Ukraine? And we're obviously going to go there. So, what the public needs to
Ukraine
learn.
is going to have their sovereignty, and Donbass is going to return to Russia.
Donbass. Okay, I think she's talking about the split up because one of the negotiations they're doing with Ukraine right now is they're going to split it up into 3 or 5 different sections. The Donbass region of first of all, they have to recognize that Crimea is Russian.
Right,
Then the
Crimea, that's what
Donbass,
I meant to say. It's going back to Russia. The papers have been drawn up. Russia's gonna pay to rebuild Ukraine. Russia's gonna pay to rebuild the Russian part, Crimea. So these people aren't gonna be out of homes. They're not gonna leave them bombed and in the streets. They're gonna
which is
fix
why
it.
they're going in slow,
Right.
without huge everything else.
And people have to realize too, Russia isn't on the same page. They have a war within, just like the United States has a war
Yeah.
within.
Everybody has a battle. It's always a battle between of the parts the ones that want to take control over everybody else because the basic evil of humanity is wanting to control other people. That's why we hate Karens, not one specific, but we have this terminology today in this modern society. The ones that bitch about what everybody else is doing. Oh, the Karens and Kens of the
Oh,
world, or
Karens are
whatever,
for sport.
All right. Well,
just for sports. But what I'm talking about is,
here's an example.
all right,
So, and President Trump just brought this up with his announcement today, is that why in 2014, I believe it was, could be off on the year, did the mayor of Moscow give Joe Biden, X million dollars?
absolutely.
And,
No,
and of
give
course, during the debate, Chris Wallace shut that down. He said, "No, you can't ask that question. You can't.
Well,
He wouldn't
He
let
can't
him.
He's got the Fifth Amendment, man. You can't ask that question. He can't self-incriminate on TV."
no, exactly.
And what's
That too,
interesting too,
because it can be recorded as evidence. Everything ends up being done as evidence, and that's one of the things that I wanted to. Um, that was the Zelensky as a puppet thing. The color revolution was one thing that we were going to talk on, but oh, never mind. I'm thinking
what
of
I was
five
going to say,
at the same
what I was
time.
going to say, it's interesting to me too. This money that's always passed around, they can't do it under the wire. They have to do it in plain sight, and then they have to change the name. Oh, it's for charity. Oh, it's going to this fund. Now it's in plain sight. So now it becomes unquestionable.
They've
But
shown the light into the darkness. Yeah.
right, but if we start questioning the Hillary Foundation, we start questioning, what is this money being used for? Now we can pull back and start to, come up with some new answers.
Well, we kind of already know that, but because we've been knowing about this since the day that Bill Clinton set this damn thing up. He's no longer president; he can do it, right? Fine, it's his foundation, but it's being work for everybody else because the Clinton Foundation now started getting donations as well from Ukraine for the Biden the team. So they all switch around. They're getting their money through different ways, and yes, the laundering is now becoming much more evident. For example, Credit Suisse. There was a thing that Russell Brand was talking about yesterday, to where Biden was saying they wanted to crack down on all of the Russian oligarchs and everything else, but at the same time, whenever the banks are dealing with them and knowing that they're laundering money and knowing that they're opening false accounts and knowing that they're trying to not pay taxes and everything else and hide their money offshore, knowingly defrauded everybody, Credit Suisse still gets the ability, and no, it's okay for you, not a problem. Don't worry about that. We'll deal with that some other time. Everybody will forget about it soon. But
Well,
even that is starting to come out. You got Deutsche Bank, which is falling as well.
I was to say, what's funny about you're talking about money laundering, and all of this others, and these donations and foundations, and that they have to expose it. Well, why do you think? You just have to look at these foundations that they're donating to. The anti money laundering foundation. What is its
Usually
purpose?
involves money
To
laundering.
fund money laundering. The
Everything's
anti
inverted.
cyborg foundation. It's to fund cyborgs.
Well,
The
the Patriot Act took more of our individual liberties away than anything else.
Yeah.
It just think of the opposite of what they're selling it to you, because that's the way lies work. They tell you what you want to hear, so they can give you what you want, which is the opposite.
They name it and then they do the opposite.
That's how Satanists work.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
we've been seeing that from Brandon for this whole year, because not a word or promise that comes out of his mouth that actually gets done. He generally does the exact freaking opposite. Or if he has a prediction, it comes absolutely untrue. Worse things. Oh,
Just
inflation is only temporary. Yeah, buddy. Printing $16 trillion in less than 6 months. That's not going to cause hyperinflation. From
just
Latin
talk
America,
about
I've seen
Biden.
that shit.
Just talk about Biden real quick. So Biden wants to sanction Russia, yet he's going to buy 75 billion gallons of oil for him from him.
Russia's got so much dirt on the Bidens right now. He doesn't dare do a thing.
I mean, if we're sanctioning
No, but he's
Russia,
also trying.
oil from them.
Well, hold on. The only thing is that the Manchurian Candidate, and then we get into what you had on your Fall of the Cabal page last week, was that thing about Obama wanting to, if he could do a third term, he'd had somebody there in the front and just whisper in his ear and that sort of thing. And so then we get the
Yep.
Manchurian Candidate, which has been movies and everything else that we've seen and talked about since the 60s and 70s when all that shit came up. And so now we've got an inept, freaking incompetent, geriatric individual that simply does what he says, does what he's told, and when you're asked a question, says, "No, I'm sorry, I'm going to get in trouble if I answer any questions," and he, sloughs off like he's got nowhere to go except for bed. Why? Because that's a situation. That's a Manchurian Candidate, and what we got to do is see what exactly have his policies done to the U.S. I mean, everything that he's done is exactly to weaken and destroy America from within.
Well, people are seeing it now. That's the important thing.
Exactly. And that they needed to be able to see that because whenever we told them that before, they didn't freaking believe us. I mean, I hopped
No, of
on
course
board
not.
this funky train in '93 when I saw Waco. I said, holy shit. And then I started questioning things. But to tell people, they have to see it. They have to reach $7 a gallon gasoline. They have to see inflation at 7%. Are you fucking kidding me? I guarantee you it's 40 or 50%. And that's what we see in Latin America. So welcome to even the news lying to you about what your real inflation rate is.
See if you could
Go
try again to do my Follow the Cabal channel to reverse it, because I would love for you to. I mean, you don't have to, but you could just play the clip of.
All right, this was the one, but I'll try that again. So
Anyway, so it's the one with Jim Pansky, the White House press secretary, answering the question about why Russia sanctioned Biden today. If you could play that clip, that is like the biggest OMFG, how stupid could you be clip I've ever heard. It is absolutely hilarious.
see, in the options that it gives me, I can actually share, the YouTube videos or
Yeah, but when you
pages
share
and
your
everything else.
screen, you're sharing your entire computer screen. So whatever you bring up should pop up.
Oh, okay. I got you. No, I was actually trying to share it on the thing. So
And it's funny too for me. You got these folks who hate Trump. Cool, hate him all you want, but you loved how you were living.
Oh yeah, they like that money.
You don't want to admit it, but you loved how you were living.
Oh well, but they believe that Russia is responsible for our gas prices. Those are the same.
oh yeah.
I like all
Then
this
why are
Russia.
they paying the equivalent to 50 cents a gallon in Russia?
Right?
And then we have our own oil and all the sanctions.
$2 a gallon.
We have our own oil and all the sanctions and all the red tape to not be able to take care of ourselves. We can take care of ourselves 100 years ahead.
America is one of the most self-sufficient countries on the planet.
Right.
That's what made us great because we can do everything ourselves.
The entire world, no imports whatsoever. We're settled. We're set. We're taken care of. We would golden age. Boom, America, most powerful country in the world.
And if anybody were to come after us, Canada would have to join us because it's the same land. Mexico would have to join us because it's the same land. I mean, we're good. We're set.
Yeah, it would be the Americas, North and South America. Oh, crap. He figured it out. It is.
Something like that. Right there. Ukraine worked with Democrats against Trump election 2016. And then we have this one, the Senate. No, the other one above that. Or where did you want to go above that?
Just
State Department agrees to hand New York Times its emails referring to the kids' foreign business dealings. All right.
We can come back to that. Just scroll up till you see Jen Pansky.
Laura Logan really threw
All
it
right,
out.
hold on. You're because the images aren't loading very fast. Scroll down just two. You know what? Let me just find it on mine. I was trying to save a spot, but
And we know into the cabal.
oh, that's today's. It was a pretty good one. All right, hold on. Let
I
me
haven't
see.
seen that one yet. Further up or further down?
Further up. Keep going up. Up.
All right.
You know what? There it is. Okay, so it's right above the flag, or right below the flag. Keep going up. When you see the guy, keep going. Okay, and one more, almost
Oh,
there.
there's the flag. All right. Which
No,
key post is that? Anyway,
it's above him. It's above him.
it's above him.
There it is. Go down one. Down. Click that. Click that right there. Turn the volume up.
But sorry.
Sanctions were imposed today by Russia against yourself, President Biden, and other top U.S. officials. Do you have a response?
Should be down,
How will it impact
down below.
Sure. I would
Yeah.
say
Oh.
that President Biden is a junior, so they may have sanctioned his dad. May he rest in peace.
No, that's just it, but not the
second
volume.
piece I would say is that it won't surprise any of you that none of us are planning tourist trips to Russia. None of us have bank accounts that we won't be able to access. We will forge ahead.
Get rid of the ad.
No, this is just saying to stop.
There's the volume
Here's the
button.
volume.
And she's a bald-faced
Let's do this
liar. They've all got bank accounts over there.
by Russia against yourself?
Of course.
President Biden
Can you hear
and
better?
other top U.S. officials. Do you have a response to that? And how will it impact any of you, if at all?
Sure. I would first note that President Biden is a junior, so they may have sanctioned his dad. May he rest in peace. The second piece I would say is that won't surprise any of you that none of us are planning tourist trips to Russia. None of us have bank accounts that we won't be able to access, so we will forge ahead.
So she thinks
They
that
sanctioned his dad. Oh, great.
Okay,
Okay.
you know, every single one of those people that Russia sanctioned and banned against coming to Russia, you know, every single one of them have bank accounts in Ukraine.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and the kids are making money off that. I mean, how many congressmen's kids or congresswoman's kids are making
Four.
money off of some company? Yep.
Yeah.
And we
Hi,
had,
Jerry.
and we had,
To the show,
and we
brother.
had one of those guys. Hey, Jerry. Now, one of those guys was actually calling somebody else a traitor. I think yesterday, was it not?
Romney was
where,
calling Tulsi Gabbard a traitor.
Exactly. Somebody who was a soldier, served 2 or 3, I think, tours. You know, she's still in the
Who
reserve. and she
probably
served
has a
in
deeper
Congress.
understanding of what goes on in war than Romney does.
Oh, obviously. Romney was
Tulsi-
trying to run away from everything.
The
I mean,
Tulsi
he's been
Gabbard,
lying his whole life.
throwing it up.
No, what she did is she
Look,
actually
look,
started
look.
questioning the involvement and whose side we should actually be on because she was.
Oh, she
starting to
didn't
see
just
some-
question. What was it, 8 or 9 posts she put out laying out the
Oh,
facts?
see, I didn't see those. I actually need to talk about those then, Mud Rabbit, because I didn't see those.
I'm trying to remember where I saw it posted. Let me see if I shared it to mine. I'm not sure I did.
Did you, Mike? Did you get a
But
chance
it
to look at
was
Larry Hogan?
probably either Truth Hammer
Laura.
or IE.
Laura Logan, the video. She
I believe I did because the majority of the videos that you send me over there on Facebook, I watch because it's all good.
Oh my gosh, they tried to shut her down, cutting her off. Like,
Oh.
let her talk because she was just laying it out.
But she does. But see, that's the whole thing they've been doing the entire time. That's why whenever we talk about juniors and the real junior, not the my dad died and I was named Junior. No. The junior that's actually going to sleep with pipes in his mouth and that kind of shit. That junior. Whenever those laptops came out back, and it would cost them another 4 years. Because imagine if that would have come out when it was supposed to. I mean, that's one of the reasons I started up on Rumble, because all that crap came out and they knocked all of the channels that I was watching for news, because they were all covering the news, what was going on, and they would talk about the sheriff's deputies or the police officers in the Manhattan precinct that whoever saw it just sort of disappeared or died. You know what I'm saying? suicides in New York. It must be a stressful place. You know what I'm saying? But all those channels got taken down off of YouTube, and that's why Rumble was created shortly thereafter, and that's why the majority you can't find, and we know, on YouTube. You can only find them on Rumble and BitChute and the other platforms where they're on.
One
Red
thing I
Pill
was
78.
talking about this, because trying to figure out, we know the easiest way to get to the sheeple is to just take over mainstream media. Just remove those bad actors and start putting legitimate information out there on those particular platforms.
Yeah, but that was Project Mockingbird. They've been doing that since the 60s. They know that. That's why they did that.
The problem is we
Right.
still have to appeal to their sensibilities because we have some way out narratives that they can't chew on. You got to bring them back to basics and then build them up. Because I got some friends. As soon as you go to an area that they can't take, you lose them.
Cognitive
We're
dissonance.
talking about the main platforms, all the ABCs, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, all these platforms just get taken over by patriots who have the evidence, who start showing the evidence on TV, and
They get shut down or disappear.
well,
Somebody's
but
country.
if we, instead of taking over Congress and the House of Representatives, if we took over the mainstream media, we would be the alliance would be 1,000 times more effective.
Right, but we will.
Unless the ultimate goal of the alliance is to get everybody to do their own damn research.
Which should be. I like your new microphone, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. Puppy's got a new approach. New approach to get your attention. You guys.
Oh,
Don't do that. No, but I'm used to watching Marfugo. I'm used to Marfugo. He's always got that mic with the thing on top, so you only see half his face, right? And so, talking into the foot. So it's a mic cover. That's what it is, I guess. So yeah, we got into
it's
that.
interesting too. I have a friend, Jenny Lee, who brought up a point to me that was interesting, and that is this Truth Social. You can't just pop in. You are being screened, checked, and so in all of it's like a rite of passage.
And I am Truth Social official, baby.
Right. So if you get in there, you've been cleared. So then you start looking at your Charlie Wards and all these people that we've been calling out. They're not in there. They're not showing their little badge. So it makes it's almost going to be a telltale of who's legit and who's not.
That's right. Talk to the Paul.
Right. So it's kind of an interesting situation. I'm still on the waiting list, but then of course when you're in there, I would say 80% is going to be Christian, and then you're going to have thinkers like myself, who take you way out in space.
Well, you have your religions, and then you have your spirituals.
Right.
There's
a little division there, but for the most part, we're all, recognize the fact that we're in the same team, ultimately, and who we're going up against.
We're not resonating against each other, and that's
God's warriors. We're God's warriors. Whether you're Muslim, Christian, whatever, we're all fighting.
If you're doing peace on earth, goodwill towards men, that is not hollow words. If that is the way you live, peace on earth, goodwill towards men.
Right.
Then if you live your life within boundaries like this, with blinders on, and can only, these. That's my only problem with these books it's one of my problems with these books is, these books telling you, well, you can't listen to anything else other than what I write in this book. But if you experience life, that.
But wait a second.
The universe is not bound by that book.
Now we see that in a couple of places, but it's not something that's repeated especially in the book that I follow. It's not repeated in countenance. They actually reference other books that are before it, like the Book of Enoch, and it's about expanding your awareness, knowledge, and understanding of what things are going on. That's Christ wasn't here just to. He didn't come down saying, "Yo, I'm the dude, follow me." No, in fact, when all his disciples were arguing amongst themselves about who was going to be the biggest badass or the most famous disciple, he grabbed a towel and bucket and started washing people's feet. The most powerful entity in the universe was washing their feet because that is how he showed it. That calmness, tranquility, and everything else. Now, we can try and follow that and emulate that and everything else, but basically, what he wanted people to do was serve. That's what we need to do. And one of the things, for example, Leo usually talks about service to others instead of service to self. And that's the thing that we also see. And whenever we associate things as evil, yeah, evil can be really fucking bad because they're, killing, massacring, shooting, bombing, destroying people's lives. Or it can be bad because they're actually closing down bank accounts, keeping people from working, or not allowing them to even have their own opinion about things. They're destroying their soul. That can sometimes be a lot more dangerous. That can even be more dangerous.
I could put $1 million on the fact that Mr. Rogers is a sweeter, kinder man than even Jesus was. I don't.
See that it's not, it wasn't necessarily questioning the doctrine itself, but he was actually telling them in the synagogue, you are following the letter of law, not the heart of the law. And the heart of the law is do no harm to others.
But so now we did kind of pull away from the direction we were trying to go.
True. But see, that's basically the battle that we're in. This is that higher battle that is actually going on. Why? Because we can get nudged down in the details, and the details of what's on Hunter's laptop, which fucking so many people got taken down just for mentioning it. Okay, people were suicided just for seeing it because it is that damning and destructive to the whole thing. But you've also got it's 5 of them that have been lost and stuff. Those are details, but in the same thing, we got to understand this is a long-term thing. The Khazarian Empire has been there for a while, and they've infiltrated, and that's why the 17th letter always says it's infiltration instead of invasion. And that's the long-term goal and long-term plan. That's the thing that we have to recognize and be able to see in order to combat it. And the only way you can do that is whenever you see that, whenever people resonate in fear, they're pushing that fear factor. They're saying, "Oh, hate this guy," or be really mean or destructive to the other guy because, he's them and not us. There's a we and there's a them.
Hold
and
on,
so when
Mike.
we
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
right.
Jerry's like, "Oh, I'm tracking the war. I gotta go. I gotta go track the war." So, the war. Here's the question: why is this war so important? You turn on the TV on any news channel, and I mean any news channel, mainstream or even off stream, on YouTube and any platform. They're all talking about it. Why? Why is this so damn important?
Because they have to defend
Why
Ukraine.
is there not 1 second of information being put out in the world that is not about that stupid country?
But see, that's one of the reasons why I got off cable back in 2008. Actually, 2003, I already started questioning it and started getting the rest of my stuff. Why? Because, yeah, I understood the war in Iraq and I understood the war in Afghanistan, but at the same time, a news channel that only had that, I'm like, there are other things going on, other situations that are happening. Why is it always war, war, war all the time? And I started questioning their narrative. I went over to the French channels, I went over to the British channels, and I went over to the Spanish channels, and they were all war all the time. And I'm like, there's something wrong here. And that's when I started getting onto the internet and started looking for other sources of information because I wanted the information.
But can we call this a war?
But you missed the whole point of this.
Yeah.
You missed the whole damn point of this. What they're all watching, the reason they're on every single channel, mainstream and off mainstream.
Because that's what they want you looking at so you don't see the other shit.
That's part of it. But it's a damn movie. It's a movie.
Yep.
And
it's all pretend.
And you can't call it a war.
A lot of it is, yeah.
There's a video right underneath the one with Jen Pansky.
Where they got the people running away from the bombs and that sort of thing.
This guy goes from Boston. He flies over to Poland, gets in a rental car or a bus or something, and then drives into Ukraine. And once he enters Ukraine, he notices that it's all staged media. the media is all staged up. They funnel all the people into these tight quarters, and then they're taking selfies with guys in military gear with their backpacks on, and then they have the police cars with their lights and sirens, and he walks 1 minute, 30, 60 seconds away from that scene. People are shopping. There's plenty of people walking around doing whatever. It's not there. So he goes further. He everywhere he goes to where where he sees on the media, on TV, and it's all just funneled people into this tight little corner, and then they got all the cameras just set back just a little bit, and they got the sirens and the lights flashing, and everybody's playing their fucking role.
Yep.
Meanwhile,
why is this?
100 yards away, people are going to the store, they're going to the grocery store, they're watching movies, they're playing in the park. All right. But yes, things are happening over there. But why isn't anybody asking questions? Why aren't we seeing millions of fucking handheld cell phone video of what's really going on? We're only seeing dictated images. We're not seeing
From
real life.
reliable news sources. From reliable news sources.
What I have noticed, I'm not
Okay,
seeing two flags on people's
there's a channel
page.
on Telegram that gives you exactly that. I'm looking for it right now. I just found it today. And they're putting all this stuff out there. Intel Slava Z. I'll type it in chat so you can see how it's spelled.
On Telegram?
Yes.
Has everyone else noticed the same thing? I'm not seeing those flags like I used to. The flag.
Got it, Mud Rabbit. All right, so I'm seeing the big anti-tank things. Let's see if I can do this.
This is all
again.
It's all for show. That's what I was trying to talk about, the mainstream media earlier. It's all show. You have people just screaming bloody murder. You can't go to a single channel without someone screaming war, 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 war.
Is this one the one Intel Slava Z, Mud Rabbit, that you were talking about?
Let me see what her latest one is.
Because what they have is these tanks that are destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, that technology to do that to a tank is nuts. And
actually, that's something that I hadn't thought about. Okay, so how are they destroyed? What do you mean? You're seeing the screen along with me, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. Mariupol.
Nice anti-tank barriers, so they just roll off the road. But some of these images, and they're using old world technology to just
now. There's a guy.
These tanks.
There's a guy. They say he's a British mercenary, but he's actually an American mercenary on her channel that tells you exactly what's going on. There's also another post on, I think, a Brazilian guy. What they're doing is all the mercenaries that are volunteering to go over there and help Ukraine, they're giving them a machine gun and 10 rounds and sending them to the front.
10 rounds.
And what would be the front?
No way, we're not. They take their passports, they tear them up, and they give them a machine gun, 10 rounds, and send them to the front. So these guys left. Huh?
I said I've got that video that you're talking about on my channel, which was just underneath the Pensaki video.
Oh, okay.
Is that the Brazilian guy?
Yeah.
Okay, there's an American one on Intel Slava who's giving a little more detail.
Yeah, that's why I'm on Intel Slavas right now. You mentioned it, and so I brought it up. That's the one that we're on. So,
and I just shared.
There's the one with the flags. You see the guy wiping his eye. Go up a few more, and you see him. He's wearing a brown T-shirt, talking to the camera.
Oh, I think I passed it then.
Yeah, I think you did.
I did. That was her right there. But look at these images.
And any bombings that are
Ukrainian
happening are
troops.
not Russia on the civilians. It's Ukraine, Azov
Yep,
bombing the civilians.
exactly,
Yep.
making it look like the Russians. And there have been people
Right.
with cell phone videos with that as well. All right, let me go down here and see if I can find that guy with the shirt.
Yeah, he's in a brown shirt. I mean, I got,
Yeah, he's
I've
got a
seen,
brown shirt and he's got a beard.
got a beard.
Yeah, I didn't think it was.
I mean, I could play the audio while you
Well,
look
no, I
for it.
didn't find it. Oh, well, go ahead. Or I can just go to yours. I just wanted to see if there was anything on Intel Slavas that was
Are you on the
this
right
one is
Intel Slava?
Intel space
Lava
Slava
Z.
space Z
No,
right there.
Intel Slava Z. The way I put it in. I put it in the
Yeah,
chat.
But,
Let me-
yeah,
so
that's
but anyway,
exactly the one that I'm in.
my
But
point
anyway,
is, it would be nice for people to watch a show that's not screaming and repeating the same nonsense, fake narrative.
exactly,
I mean, this is you're supposed to be getting a break from that. If you want to watch that, it does just pick a channel. I mean,
exactly.
you just pick a channel. They're all
But
screaming
what?
the same
But what?
thing.
But the reason. But like you were mentioning earlier, why are they making us look that way, not this way? Why? Because there's stuff coming out about CV and everything else that's making the house
Oh
fall.
yeah,
We've got things in Arizona and Wisconsin and in various other places that are making 2020. We've got the DHS going after people that deny 2020 and deny the CV, and they're actually making them enemies of the state. Wasn't there a movie about that with um,
Use the at least
who was that star that did iRobot? Fuck, I can't think of his name right
Will
now.
Smith.
Will Smith. No. So he did that movie to where he was running away because he was they thought he was somebody else, and so he was identified by the system, and they were trying to do everything to finish him off. Enemy of the State. Great movie. Look it up. But that's where. Okay. No, that's okay. I'm not going to go into that just
All
yet.
right.
But
So
that
you
was
also have
Bob was
the
okay.
White House deploying TikTok. Um, what are they called? TikTok.
Yeah, I saw that.
Anyway,
What
so
is
How
it?
they
ridiculous.
30 TikTokers to the White House so they could give them the proper narrative and the pre-recorded, scenes to share on their TikTok.
Who owns TikTok? Who controls TikTok?
Oh, bad guys.
Okay, I'm going to save this to mine because I can't send it to yours, Michael.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. So the Russia came out with a new a 48-second commercial, or the Russian police just released the video, and I don't know if it's the music or the camaraderie, but I just loved it. It was pretty cool. But anyway,
Hey, Carl, on
Yeah.
your channel, Mike, I just put a video of a fake media situation where the guys are laying down dead and in the body.
oh yeah,
So
I've
if
seen that.
you want to
a lot.
play it, I put it there so it's the
Yeah.
last thing you could play it because I just put it on his page.
Okay, well he's got the share screen. I don't.
Right, that's why
Yeah.
I'm bringing up to Mike that you could share it because it's
Carl,
right
do
there.
you have this guy in the brown t-shirt?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I can play the audio. That was 80 posts ago. Oh, there it is. All right. Like I said,
Everybody's going on.
just listen.
We were part of the Georgia National Legion 102nd Ukrainian Territorial Defense. Okay. Our base got fucked up. The base right next to us got fucked up. Americans, British, a ton of British dead. Right? They're not saying nothing. They're counting all the dead as they're dead. They're trying to send us to Kiev with no fucking weapons, no kit, no fucking plates. The people who are lucky enough to get weapons are only getting magazines with like 10 fucking rounds, okay?
Did you hear me, Mike?
You
Yes, I
lost
did.
him.
On the Follow Cabal chat, I threw up the video if you want to play it.
Yeah,
And
maybe
then
they
I'll
don't. Maybe YouTube is censoring this one.
Carl, it might be. It might have been the title that's the reason you guys had so much trouble getting in. Interesting.
I saved
Yeah.
it on my Telegram.
Okay. I actually. All right. Okay. I can't find yours. But then again, that's one of the things that bothered me about Telegram because all of a sudden I've got 150 different channels and they're all blowing it up and I can't find a damn thing afterwards. And well, shit. No, shit. No, I hate messing around with Telegram while I'm doing this thing. And Carl fell off. He was having problems with his equipment right before the stream as well. And so on his
Yeah, I think it's
Telegram,
just funky everywhere.
it's funky everywhere, and that's something that we really need to question as well. Why is it funky everywhere? Because we're not. All right. So why are they making us look at? Why are they making us look over there instead of here? Why is that so important? That's where they're banking. That's where their money laundering. That's where their sources are from. That's where all the things are happening. That's why they're trying to make us look over there, make it so important that we have to defend that. You know, the banks are there doing all their funky shit, and you had, Carl had problems with the equipment again.
Well, they certainly don't want us looking over there. They're all of a sudden starting the Russia thing again because they don't
Exactly.
want us knowing about their finances. I mean, Jen, think about it. Anybody who's telling, she said, we're not going to try them. We don't have bank accounts. Why?
That's just weird. Too bro. And
Yeah,
it's
it
it's
is weird.
it's StreamYard.
Hold on, we're trying to hear Mud Rabbit, but she's breaking in and out.
For a minute.
Oh, you got better. What happened? We
I
missed
don't know
that.
what happened. Oops, there he went.
We missed the
Anyway,
last
Jen Psaki lied.
30
Why would she
seconds of
bring
what
that
you
up?
had said. Well, they distort and she's been lying ever since she got behind the podium.
Yeah, why would she even say that unless she intended
Oh,
to throw us off?
yeah,
What does
Junior.
them
When
not
they're
having
talking
a
about
bank
Junior,
account
they're
and not
talking
being
about
able to
this guy.
travel to Russia have to do?
Oh, because the sanctions aren't going to hurt them. So
Well,
the
they sanctioned
sanctions are a
her
good thing.
too.
They sanctioned her. They sanctioned her. Oh, and she lost access to her Kazarian accounts. So
Yeah,
they're feeling the pain.
That's what I'm
They're all
saying. Every last one of those people that they sanctioned have accounts over there. I bet you anything.
That's why she said that they didn't, because exactly what they say is the opposite. Holy shit, she mentioned it because it's a Freudian fucking slip,
Absolutely.
and
Yep.
they invert it because they have to fucking
Mm-hmm.
spit it out. They have to. They can't keep it in. They got to spit it out somehow,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't say the truth because that'll fuck them up, and so they get it out somewhere, in some distorted fashion of that, and it always comes out. She's been
Yep.
on that team for a very long time. When she first got on there, and you can see her lion face, and
She was
every time
Obama's advisor.
yeah, exactly, and before that, she was working with the Clintons as well. So I believe I need to double check that. But she's been involved with all of them for a while. So she's they're bringing all the chickens are home to roost. You know what I'm saying? They all got them into one place so that they can go. All right, y'all are done. Everybody's
Yeah,
seen
they're all all at once. All at once.
all at
It's
once.
happening too fast for them to do damage control.
Well,
Yeah,
remember,
it's all the little
drip,
holes in the
drip,
dike. They can't
drip,
plug them. They can't
drip,
plug them fast enough.
pour.
Yep.
It's going to start pouring out. And Ukraine I believe that was one of the timelines in order to have these things pouring out. Why? Because what was the first thing that was attacked? I mean, yeah, he's been in there for 10 days now, I believe, something like that. And what were the things that were attacked? Oh, all of a sudden we've got 8 targets that need to be protected because there might be things there that they can capture and use. Yeah, they're referring to the biolabs.
Well, Newland was Newland was in there saying, that, oh, yeah, we've got them, but, and trying to explain them away. At the same time, MSM is saying they're not over there. We don't have them over there.
They're not over there. They don't exist, but we need to protect that thing that's not over there and doesn't exist, because it's crucial that the enemy does not get their hands on whatever is not over there and doesn't exist. So trust us and give us your money. Kind of like that.
So
Right.
it kind of begs to ask.
Well, that's because they think there's more people listening to CNN than the Patriots.
Is anybody listening to CNN anymore? Seriously, I don't know anybody.
Like 90% gone.
Gone. The only reason that I actually find out about CNN is other people talking about how ridiculous what CNN said. And it's like, yeah, really? Sure. That's why I haven't. And every once in a while, I'll like top into even on the YouTube, I'll get into CNN, and it's like, it just gives me chills anymore. I can't watch it. I mean, I had one of those 3 years ago. I went to the States, and it was all the rage, and I wanted to be able to have one. So I got a Google Home, right? And so you set it up and you hook everything up, and while you're cooking breakfast or something else, you're listening to music or news or something else. And so I'd listen to NPR, and I'd be like, holy shit, that's all lies. Because I've got 5 other sources that are telling me something different than that. And then I listen to, the ABC on the Google, Google Home little speaker thing. Every single thing was the same propaganda, which is exactly the opposite of what was going on. I got so pissed making breakfast that I just shut that damn thing off. Couldn't listen to it. I go to some people's houses and I see what they've been reading, and yeah, that's the reality, and that's the truth that I believed was truth so many fucking years ago, whenever I was, in the Matrix, right? And so I believed all those things and all that history that they called this, and this is something that's going to come out. The history that we know isn't real, and how far back those myths go, and how far they're going to end up deconstructing the entire history that we know. Maybe they'll reach to the points to where, Angel, you're there. I mean, we're talking about, I started off with this trek studying Atlantis and all that kind of shit. We're going to end up tying all of that entire reality. Why? Because just like World War II, trying back, the more times you tell a lie, the more people will start to believe it as being true. And so if they shove it at you in 5 different channels that are all owned by the same corporations and told what to do by the same entities, you think you're getting independent sources and different sources, but you're not. They're all pumping the exact same propaganda. And it's hard to uncouple from that unless you actually do simply uncouple and find other means and other ways. Because right now, but people are finding that there are other means. There are. I mean, shit. There are other YouTube channels. There are other. BitChute, we got Rumble, we got Minds, you got Telegram that's coming up. I mean, some people are using WhatsApp as getting things around. And, it's just people have other sources now. And so they all have their own independent ideas and their own independent perceptions of reality, and they're acting on those. And in general, people will try to do the best thing that they can. We don't always do, because our perceptions and our notion of what is really going on changes. And so that affects how we act and how we behave. See, that's what the narrative, having everybody in fear. Oh my God, this is going to be World War III and we're going to be in a nuclear holocaust. My heart. Oh, fear. Oh shit. If my neighbor comes over here for a grill, I'm going to kill grandma. It's the fear factor. It's what they've been feeding into us. It's the way that they get the sheep to comply. Because if you're afraid of the wolf over here, you're going to go towards the wolves that are over there. Okay, because they're lying in ambush. And so they get people to run in a direction. It's not just predictive programming. It's problem solution. They create a problem and that they already have a solution for. They want you to problem reaction solution. Thank you very much. The Hegelian dialectic. It's what they use, and that's what they've all been using. And we've been having technical difficulties the entire evening before the broadcast and sometimes during.
Well, here's something I'd like to ask.
Go ahead.
Figure out if we can, what's the most important thing to these cabal? And then if you have to ask, how far does that go? Are these ETs or is this AI?
Okay, well, see, well, then again, okay, are we going to really take it to the intergalactic AI
Well, but
consciousness
that's
that's
just it.
taking over
People,
galaxies and
there's
is now
narrative.
combating? And yeah, but well, I don't necessarily think that people are willing to understand that there's a battle going on right now to save Mars because they want to brain chip them as well. Because people are still trying to relate to, wait, what the TV tells me isn't real. So it's little by little. We
We do
can't get
know,
them to Mars
right?
because we're
Right,
they still
and
don't
that could go
understand.
too far. And I, like I said, you got a spoon fed people. But what I'm getting at is what's most important. So far, we know trafficking has been a real big thing for them, and
It
why?
always has been.
Right, because of the Chrome. So on that basis, what's going on in Ukraine? Clearly, there's a lot of trafficking because it
Mm,
always seems to pinpoint around that.
absolutely.
They need this,
But, well, like they say, it's yeah, because well, how many vampire movies have we seen over the years?
right?
Okay, now, oh, they don't exist and it's not real and all this kind of stuff. And but at the same time, why are they doing it? Why do these myths and everything else actually exist? Because there were people whose blood was taken, while they were sleeping. Normally younger people that have younger looking skin and everything else. Now we see studies that have proven that yeah, whenever you put a younger mouse with an older mouse and you put the tubes connecting the two, the older mouse will end up getting a little bit younger. Yeah, that's just medical science, and they've known that for a very long time.
No, the reason I'm bringing
So
up
I'm saying that the chrome isn't something new. That's what I want to.
no,
That's what
but
I
the
want you
reason
to
I'm
understand.
bringing it up
But
is
they've industrialized it, and so making people disappear is because it's on an industrial level. Before it was in individual levels, and each one had to do what they had to do in order to get it done. Now it's been industrialized, commercialized, and globalized.
yeah. But my point, what I'm getting at is this: um, what we're trying to do is not echo chamber to people that we know. We
True.
want to appeal to someone that this information is new to, or they've been turning a blind eye. And like I said, we got to find a way to appeal to their sensibilities. I mean, I watched my parents, my mother and my sister, when a couple years ago when I was trying to get them to understand how Sandy Hook really went down.
Ooh, welcome back, Mud Rabbit.
And on that basis,
And
they
careful with Sandy Hook. That's what took down Alex Jones. And even
right,
saying Alex Jones is dangerous.
right. And the thing is, I was up against so much flack, and I'm throwing all the potentials of situation. I mean, all my points of views, whether it's hazmat didn't do any cleanup to kid kicking in a steel door to being 104 pounds and carrying 40 pounds of ammo, weapons, and armor. I mean, and then have a kill ratio better than any Marine. I mean, all the points. The
Well,
water
see that,
without
but
the,
that goes back to see.
but
Whenever you dig into lies too much, you will find an underlying truth. For example, you've got, I think rounds coming out of the book depository. One of them making five ridiculous angled turns, the magic bullet, as they called it.
Mhm.
We've been calling them out on their bullshit ever since then, or
Right.
before
But
that.
I'm talking about trying to get this, try to find the sensible points of view. Because what I was leading to is my folks finally are waking up, and I'm watching
But
how
how did they wake up? What made them wake up?
my sister. It was the COVID situation. She could not wrap her head around that, and she kept digging and digging to finally the floodgates. I mean, she's been sending me things left and right, and more. I can see. I'm watching her awakening process, as well as my mother, who used to call me to tell me I was a racist because I believed in Trump. To now, she has a totally different narrative. Now, she's always been awake in other areas, but she couldn't wrap her mind around that. I guess what I'm getting at is we have to learn how to put those nuggets out there. And those nuggets have to be something that people can chew on. And if it's not working, you got to find another nugget. And that's just it. That's the thing we need to talk about is finding.
What are the nuggets that they can chew on?
Right, because you take my wife for instance. She always had a outside the box thinking. She was in her religious box in the Christian the Catholicism, but then she always thought outside the box. And I can present her something. She won't take it firsthand, but she would dig, because she used to drink the aspartame pop. I was drinking it all the time, and I kept bringing to her.
Well, I did too. I like aspartame.
Right.
Aspartame.
Yeah, and
Nutrition.
but she did her own digging, and then she found her way through, and then it became her truth. But then what I was getting at
But it can't become her truth unless she actually dug into it and found out.
And
it can't be her truth if you tell her. And see, that's the whole thing with this movie as well. Everybody had to see the truth. We couldn't tell them the truth. We've been telling them for fucking ever.
People have to want it bad enough to look at it.
Right. But what I was going to lead to too is I'm noticing some people, like my wife, who seem to have had downloads because she's come up with some information that I'm like, okay, that wasn't your spill, before 2017. I mean, she's now teaching me things. I mean, she literally had a download, and she'll tell you that too, because she'll come up with things, and she's like, I don't know where that
Isn't that how it works, though?
Right.
So, that's basically. Imagine this: you got a TV set, not the new type. I'm talking like the 1970s. When you had the radio dial and you had to flip the channels, right? What was the difference between channel 4 and channel 8? On one you had ABC and on the other one you had CBS. And the only difference was that you're changing that radio dial. The radio works as well, but TV you could actually see. You just change it and it goes shifting and it's snow, and then all of a sudden it coalesces into another image and it's another thing. And that's what happened. Her resonance ended up leaving one certain resonance and vibrating into another. And once she reached that other resonance, boom, the information that was available to that resonance started to flow in. Okay,
or is it that we are in the know, but we're denying that information? It's all there.
Well, that too. But it depends on if you want to know about being in the know or not. If you don't want to know, you're going to continue ignorant.
Because there's so many people out here that I just think they're just stuck on that narrative. They're not going to flip their script, and it's almost like I turn away from them. But I don't want to be that way. I just don't want to be there because I know that I'm getting approached by people that I used to know that are just doggedly mundane in their thinking, and they were set. But now they're asking me questions, and I'm like, well, why am I triggering you? Why, if you know that I'm the nutcase, why do you want to come back at me and ask me questions? Because if I'm a nutcase, why are you coming to me? Because something is triggering them. They don't want to admit it, but they want to wake up to something. So, and like I said, we got to keep with the practicality. Like when you say fake news, I keep telling people, here's the logistics of it. Go back to HR 5736, which is a bill that was passed that allows the media to propagandize the public legally. So
Obama passed that.
They can legally perform theater like this Ukrainian war, which is not a war but a show.
And not be called out on. But why did they all leave Russia whenever Russia passed a law that they would be penalized if they did fake news? They were found to falsify things. And why did everybody leave Russia as soon as they did? Oh, no, we're just leaving. But they did it the same day. They passed a law, and the same day they were all announced that they were all leaving Russia. Because they knew they'd be losing.
What I use too is, why are you paying taxes on your labor? And I bring them down the path. I would like you to show me the law, and then they come back. Well, yeah, I talked to my the Scarlett works at the IRS. She said, yeah, it's legal. But, it did went to court. What court? It wasn't the Supreme Court. Show me a Supreme Court ruling. They can't do it. So you get to thinking. Now, this one girl that I did approach on this, she hasn't come back
But
to me
see,
yet.
does a law have to have a Supreme Court ruling in order for it to be valid? And that's where that
If it was
question comes.
challenged there, and it
Now,
was,
if somebody was challenged and it was defeated, then at that point, yes, it would
because
no
the
longer be
Supreme
valid.
Court did say no new tax, only direct and indirect, and that's it.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
see there then, but see that implies a question that you would need to bring up because everything is always. Um, hmm,
Right now, but I bring it up because I'm trying to make the point that we want to we want to find a way to approach people with their sensibilities. Because if you can get them to see one thing, now
if
they're
they
on the
start
path.
digging at nuggets, any nugget that you get them digging at, but something that's
Right.
sensible, something that they need, that they're focused on, that they can actually wrap their head around and have an intrinsic and immediate need for.
Right. Because even this,
Michael,
Yeah. Is there another one?
Michael,
Yes.
Peggy Dancer is a friend of mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's from
Sorry.
Erin's channel. She's not one of the trolls. Can you please undo
I
her?
I will
Sorry,
I
Peggy
will.
Dancer.
That was Mo. I'm so fucking sorry. I'm sorry, my language. I
I think I
apologize.
just did it.
If you can,
I just
I need
unhit
to.
her.
You did that? Okay.
but I think what we wanted to go to is from front to
I
back.
got it. So sorry, Peggy Dancer.
I apologize for that. No, I've got an itchy trigger finger. I apologize. PTSD. Oh shit.
It's okay. We've been attacked by trolls lately, so we've got some people coming in from Erin, so you're going to see some new names.
Okay, that's a good thing. Like and subscribe. Everyone's welcome as long as you're not talking shit about anybody. We're all good. And so that's sorry. I just got triggered. Apologize for that, Peggy Dancer. Welcome. And I think I had seen you on Aaron's. I should have actually recognized that. Yeah, because I saw you over on Aaron's as well at one time. So yeah, my deepest apologies. Yeah, apologize for that, but we're good now. Getting back to having people a kernel, a nugget to nibble on and find out. Okay, we're seeing that we are in a Hollywood war, and we're also in the middle of a Hollywood presidency because we know that they're not necessarily in the White House; they're at Castle Rock. Okay, and then people are actually seeing this, more and more people. It's becoming more obvious, and then when these truths become obvious, and they're going, "Oh wait, but they're saying that," and we got to follow the media. It's all coming around soon. Um, Yeah, abundance of caution. I've trigger finger. Apologize for that. Anyway, I lost my train of thought.
Well, you were talking about that people are starting to recognize.
Different things, and so what they did in the end of 2020 by blocking people who are talking about the laptop, which is now laptops plural. When they blocked people for saying anything about CV, when they blocked people saying anything about the jabberwoppers, whenever they block, people are starting now to go, yeah, but okay. So if they were wrong about that, and they're wrong about that, were they wrong about that and that too, and that other thing as well? But
And then
then
where's Fauci? What happened to him?
where's your floor? Where can you actually um, people lose their base because nothing is real again. They realize what the CIA says when everything that everyone thinks is real is a lie. That's when we know we've done our job. That was the president of the CIA back in '67 or '63 or some shit like that. Okay, so their objective ever since Mockingbird was to distort the image of reality to the people. Because when you contract, like Goebbels used to say, if you control what the information a person receives, you can control their mindset, their mentality, their thought process. Because you're going to process the information that you have. If you don't have information, you're not going to process it. So if you can actually control what they process, um, Okay. Yeah, Carl's trying to get back in, and I'm not sure if the mud rabbit that we're seeing is the actual mud rabbit or the ghost of mud rabbit, as has been some part of the evening. There's connectivity issues and everything else going on tonight. So um, what we have is people thinking they know what's going on because that's what they've been programmed to believe. And when we start getting people to get away from that programming, thinking for themselves, thinking outside the box, doing their own research, um, we're going to see a certain, and I hope it happens soon because, man, we need it. There are so many people that are still drinking the Kool Aid. And literally, what happened in Jonestown whenever you drank the Kool Aid, um, what happened to all of them when they drank the Kool Aid? And that's what I'm afraid is happening to people now.
Well,
And
the question too now is, the things that are going on that is wacky. Whether it's some of these gender changes or whatever. Are we yet normalized to this? Like
no,
you're even
more and more people are. More and more people are because some people that I thought would never actually get it are starting to get it. Other people that I thought kind of got it are starting to get it a lot better and understanding. A lot of people that used to say, "No, you're fucking crazy," are now saying, "Wow, you know what? You were right about that, and you were right about that other thing." But we'll see where it goes, whether or not we believe what you say next time, because you say some crazy shit. And so yeah, that's where I end up being
but
at. But
the other thing too that we have to appreciate, and that is they have to disclose, and they have been disclosing. All the crazy has been put in movies, um,
the
in
predictive programming.
so most people are aware. They had to have seen this. It's imprinted, but it's been imprinted as this is
Now,
theory.
that's just a fantasy. That's just a movie. That's nothing to do with the reality.
When I bring up the download, maybe it's not so much a download. It's I have been exposed to that. Oh, let me flip that around. So that is truth now. I know that narrative. I know I have understandings because it's been given to me in movies, blah blah
And
blah.
you're able to see it. And see, one of the things that I've and see that's yeah what I did because I started off in your wife started off in Catholicism. I started off in the Lutheran um, doctrine. And at one point, I expanded and I went outside. Well, it kind of started when I was younger, when we visited Mayan temples and everything else, and there were other pre-Columbian realities, and so I started to understand a little bit more of theirs, and then I went off onto the others, and that's usually what I talk about tomorrow night. With the talking about the different cultures and different religions on all those different continents and what they all kind of have in common. That commonality, that GPS type locator thing of the truth and the nexus of reality. It brought me back to the fact that love God above all else and love thy neighbor as thyself. And that is the best resonance that you can actually possibly do. The rest is detail. Now, we have people that want the exact opposite of that. They do not want to give us free will. They want to control everything that we do. And that is, they want to instill fear and anger and hatred in people. And that is the resonance that we fight against. Whether or not we consider that as satanic or evil or a galactic AI taking over or something else, it, any of those, as long as the resonance is doing harm to others and controlling others, it's a bad resonance and you got to question it. And we got a billionaire right now that's talking about, we all have to take a Jabberwhopper and we all have to get identified and we all have to have our own little private mark in order to do anything in society. And you got more and more that are talking about this. And it's scary because we've had books that have told us, yeah, in the end, this is what's going to happen.
Right. Well, the thing that kills me too is what the one statement that always gets under my skin is that when people argue and fight for their freedom, why are you fighting for something that is innate? Why would you even make a statement like that? I'm fighting for my freedom. That's a dumb statement to me. You are free. I don't have any owners, and that's where I stand.
Yeah, okay. The only, okay.
Because I allow
On,
myself to follow.
That's pretty much where I am.
Yeah, I mean, I will follow human rules like the stoplight or whatever because it makes sense.
societal norms and that sort of thing. You want to be
Right,
part
yeah,
of society, do what
I
society
agree
does,
to
blah
do
blah.
it.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Right. But the thing is, when I hear this plea for I'm a fight for my freedom, this and that, that comes from a place of, I don't know, just defeatedness.
Combat.
Yeah.
No, but what happens is that what they're actually referring to psychologically is that they realize what freedoms they have relinquished themselves, and they are with an internal battle. Because, for example, people can't take away my freedom because I have the freedoms that I have. If I'm part of a society and at one point I have freedom of speech, but at another point I don't have freedom of speech, then that's not necessarily a freedom. Now I do have that freedom. I also have the consequences of it, but I have that freedom when I'm in my own environment and nobody can come in and do that. Once I start interacting in theirs, they can change their rules all they want. Yeah, I'm still a free individual within certain limits. We're not necessarily free as long as we're part of society. Whenever we are able to detach ourselves from the system, we can be truly free. But in the end, what does that freedom really entail? Now, part of that also begs back whenever they're talking fighting about their freedom, because in some places they don't even understand that concept of freedom that we so cherish and fight for and shed blood over. Because in the Oriental ideology, for example, if you did something that dishonored your family, it was better for you and your family for you to simply commit hari-kari. You know, do yourself in. You're a piece of shit. Fuck it. Deal with it. At least save your family some grace and honor. The society was always more important than the individual. The stability of the society was more important than the individual. And so that idea of individual liberties doesn't even exist over there as a concept, a cultural concept. Why? Because the society and the cohesion of the society is what matters. And that's why you have so much discipline
Well, I
in
get
many
that,
of
but the
these,
thing is,
because the
people.
individual doesn't have that ability. For example, whenever I went to Berlin, it shocked the shit out of me because these were people that I was used to West Germany, and I'd been there a couple of times, and I knew what they were, you know, how their culture was and everything else. And you know, I went to various parts of East Germany, and I saw how destitute it was. And when you visit Berlin, it was this completely different German culture. It's a German culture, the Berliners, but they're wilder, they're crazier, and they don't do any of the things that I would normally naturally associate with the German culture that I stereotypically got accustomed to, you know, in my traits and everything else. So it was the entrance of liberty into that void of, because whenever you're in service to the state and everything else, you don't have an identity, which means you don't have any real motivation. The only way that you can be motivated is through the whip, or you know, just your sense of inner responsibility. That's it. Unless you're able to create your own dreams, your own realities, to find that raison d'être, to motivate you to do more. And that is a secret of the Western society, because we value the individual. That's why we created democracy. That's
Right, yeah,
why the
but the thing,
philosophers talked about that.
what I'm getting at is
That's
this.
also a concept. It's not necessarily a reality. Okay, why now? You're also talking about the concept of like Buddha, which is also in the East. Yeah, he was free. He gave up everything and he sat down in a tree, and there were battles and nobody killed him. Nobody did anything else. He was free and he could do whatever, you know, he could do, because he didn't really interact or was a part of any kind of society at that point. He had given all that stuff up. And yeah, in that sense, he was kind of free. Um,
But I'm talking about people just self-reflecting, backing up, and recognizing that, you know, thinking. Just, you know, they live too much in their exterior world and what they see, and they operate from what they see instead of coming in to go, okay, I don't have any owners. It's changing your inner dialogue and changing your
but
inner
see,
outlook.
for that, but see, exactly for that, especially in the American culture, you guys have been made just to, and I'd say you guys, I'm one, but it took me a while to get out of that entire mindset, which is you work your ass off. You're working 12, 15-hour days sometimes. You're paying the bills. You're making things. Yeah, life is okay, but you have no time to think, and that's exactly the purpose. Because the contemplative state, that time where you can actually stop and think, mull things over, go over your day, find out just go through things that you did in that day, and preferably you'll be able to pick out some good things that you'll go to sleep being able to be thankful for something during the day, because that's the objective. You need to be grateful for something during for every day. Otherwise, what was that day worth, right? But there are many mistakes and things and people that were shocked and people that were bothered that in the end of the day you can think about and go, okay, what could I have done this? And then when you go to sleep in that state, just ruminating, your subconscious ends up processing that on a quantum level. And when people wake up, they're like, oh, I got an idea, because they're subconscious. And when they woke up, it downloaded to their consciousness.
Right. But so put it this way: when I drive home, I will intentionally sometimes go a different route.
Always.
So off
To
her,
stimulate your brain
right.
is if you follow the same route every day, you're dumbing yourself down. More accidents happen that way because you're not actually paying attention to the road. You're in the rut. And so the way to
It's
stimulate your
about being
creativity.
self-aware.
Yes.
People are not self-aware. They're too busy looking out, and that's how they function. And the, I guess that's really the key to things. To for people to start to wake up is the first key element is become self-aware in every aspect. To start looking inwardly, or even so much as to recognize your nail, your body, how it feels. Because ultimately, what do we really want? Ultimately, we ultimately want to feel good. Everything that we do is about feeling good.
But okay. But with that, we also there are different levels of feeling good. And then we get the lizard brain of feeling good, which is your red level. You'll eat fatty foods and you'll eat sugary foods, and you'll copulate because the different serotonin and dopamine levels are fed into that. But there's also the feeling good of doing things in a constructive and sustainable manner, to where after a while you feel joyful in the balance that has been created around you. That's also a kind of happiness, but it's a deeper happiness. It's a harder happiness to achieve, but it's a much more pleasant happiness. And those immediate goals of, like, what I like to call sugar highs. Why? Because you'll eat sugar, you'll eat a candy bar, and half an hour later you're still hungry and wanting something else. So those sugar highs don't last very long, and it causes you diabetes in the long run. And there are other types of happiness that we can find, which are deeper and more profound forms of happiness, which is building up your own goals, and building your raison d'etre, and going towards your destiny, and building those family and friends and connections and everything else that give you an ability to interact more personally on the world stage. Those are things that I would consider as um, things that would cause a deeper sense of joy and spiritual joy. So whenever we talk about being happy, yeah, but it depends on the depth and profundity of what we consider happy to be. Um,
Well,
that's my take.
but I mean, in general, I don't need
Happiness
extreme.
is very subjective.
Thank you very much. You're back, Mud Rabbit. I thought it was a ghost. Good. Phyllis said you've been gone for a while.
Right, and what I'm getting at is that I would rather just feel
No,
good.
I'm here. I'm just, sometimes my sound is messed up.
Okay. Okay. No worries. Um, cool. Sorry, Todd. Go ahead.
No,
You were
I was
saying.
just saying, my goal is I don't need extreme happiness. I'm good with just feeling good. When I wake up in the morning, I look forward to having my coffee and doing little. And that's a 5 minute, 10 minute moment, or 15 minute. How long you take down your coffee, Or on the weekends, you know, with spending time with my wife on little going grocery, shopping or whatever. These little moments, just feeling good doing these moments. I'm good with that. I don't need the
But
extreme.
that's what generally life is about. Um, the memories that we cherish, yeah, there might be big moments
Normal
in
people
your life.
don't need the extremes. It's the psychopaths that do.
Yeah. Now, what happens is that those individual moments are the memories that life is made of. Whenever you look back at your life at 65 and what it was, it was those little moments that stand out. For example, your kids might have been a pain in the ass the majority of the day, but there was these 15 minutes when they came up and they hugged you and they said, "Thank you, Daddy," or "I love you, Daddy," or "You're my hero," or whatever it is that personal moment that the kid has with you that makes your heart melt, and everything else disappears. All the shit that they did disappears because at that moment, that's the one that's remembered. Okay, generally. You snap these pictures and you look back at that picture and you're like, oh yeah, he had this great smile at this point. But that was one moment around a whole bunch of other shit that was going on. But you captured that moment because that was a special moment. That was a happy moment. That's the moment that you end up remembering. And those moments. For example, when somebody comes home at the end of the day and says, "Oh, guess what little Timmy did today? He did this thing and the other thing," and the guy's like, "Oh, I just got back from work. What the hell did Timmy? Yeah, great. Yeah, he walked. He played with. He kicked the ball. Yeah, great." He wasn't there. He didn't experience it. He didn't experience the build up to it, the fact that it actually happened, and then the entire. They're trying to fill them in on a reality that they didn't participate in, and it's very difficult to do. Those moments, you have to put up with all the bullshit in order to be able to actually experience those moments.
You're responsible for how you feel.
Yeah.
And just like in relationships, like when I married my wife, we both agreed basically that you're not responsible for my happiness. So what I'm getting at is that, you know, that inner default thinking that we have, the worry about the bill or worrying about this and oh, I got to go to work and projecting. We project a lot. Oh shit, I got to go to work. So what are you doing? Projecting that you're going to have a bad day? You don't know that. But you're in charge of how you feel and how you're about to go each and every step. And every time, every part of the day has segments. So when you get in a car and you're about to drive from point A to work or whatever, that's a segment. When you get into that segment, that's a moment in which you can decide what you're going to do with that time. What you're going to think about. If you're with someone, what are you going to talk about? You're always in charge. But what people actually do is they allow that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people run around, they allow that inner worry, things that you can't control, you can't change.
That's going to consume that entire hour that you spent on the bus or the train or driving in your routine in the traffic. You're not thinking about traffic. You're stuck in the middle of everybody else. So then all of a sudden you're able to contemplate. And people just contemplate about all the bad shit instead of going, all right, I'm here. Let's think about the good shit going on so I can actually enjoy the journey. They don't. And so they acidify their blood every day.
Right.
Welcome back, Carl. That was kind of tough,
And
wasn't it?
that
Thank
depends
you.
on where that person is evolutionary.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
really
that-
does, because there are some people that's all they think of are positive things. And then you have people who all they can do is think of negative things.
All right. Well, one thing
It's almost like they bring it on themselves.
Oh, they find a problem for every solution.
I want to shout out to Violet Luna and Artist 61.
Right.
Sorry to say hi earlier. But one thing you guys are failing to remember that we are all constantly being influenced by outside entities. All right. We are
Yep.
we are
Absolutely.
resonant frequencies. So these other energetic beings have access to our
It's not a hard
frequencies.
thing, though, to learn to recognize them.
And what they do, right, but all they do is they put thoughts in your head. They put these negative thoughts in your
They
head
plant
constantly.
those little seeds.
And they try to keep you
Yep.
you feel a pain, and this thought will come in and it'll say it's the worst thing ever, you're dying, and you're like, no, it's not, it's just a pulled muscle, knock it off. And as soon as you say knock it off, it's done and over with. Sometimes it'll persist for a second or two, but most of the time it's gone. So what you guys got to realize is most people aren't aware of this at all. So they think it's their thoughts, and they dwell on these thoughts. And the more power and the more you feed these thoughts, the more they take hold, and the more they weigh you down, and they slow your resonant frequencies down. Just
suck the life out of it.
Right.
Just say no.
Because you have three brains.
But that's easier said than done, Carl.
You got the head brain.
All you have to, Mike, all you have to say,
if people
stop
could see
it.
what surrounds us.
I already did it. I already did that. Okay, but I'm talking about others that I've been trying to and haven't been able to for a very long time. It's not that easy.
for you. You can only affect yourself.
I'm
You
saying
can
I
try
already
to
did.
do the
I
same
already.
thing.
That's what I'm saying. I already did that. The others that I have tried to influence, because I don't control others. I try to influence others. That is the essence of reality. I control no one. I only control myself. But those that I've tried to influence, some have wanted to wake up, and in some cases they have. But in other cases, no. It's still fear factor on 24/7, and that happens, and you can't. Like I said, you can't change others. You can only change yourself and your
But they're
interaction
trying to
with
train
them.
us out of this hurting feelings bullshit. This what you say, politically correctness. Oh, you said you
Oh,
called
but see,
me my
but
wrong gender.
well,
These are
see, that's
feelings that you choose to feel. You choose to feel hurt by what someone else says. I
well,
don't know
it goes a little bit deeper than that. It goes a little bit deeper than that because you continue fitting into their premise of controlling somebody else. The PC culture bullshit. I mean, that's one of the things that said, no, I got to get out of this place. It's getting fucking nuts because it was, and it got worse, much fucking worse. All right, because not only whenever you restrict speech, you restrict thought, but at the same time, what they're doing is they're pointing at somebody else. You said this word. You got to be villainized. You said this other thing. You got to be villainized because you hurt that other person. I can hurt him, but nobody saw it, so fuck that. So you're the one responsible. Pointing the finger at everybody else is what this is all about. It's not
Why
about
do you
introspection. It's
why
not
do you
about
think
changing yourself.
why do you
Go ahead.
think it's why do you think they're constantly calling us racist, Nazis, all these negative, nasty terms, conspiracy theorists? They're trying to make us feel bad. They're
Yeah,
trying to moralize us. And if you choose to be offended by these terms, well, then they work. They
that's
succeeded.
on you.
They
Exactly.
took high frequency and they lowered it. And now you're going to dwell on these names that they called you and these feelings that these names associated themselves with. Now these names have
Because
feelings.
you were triggered.
Yeah.
but there's also a
It's
factor
not
too.
only what they tell us, the mainstream media broadcast at a hertz that is not compatible with us. So when we watch these things and hear these things, we become agitated. They've incorporated it into the music, they've incorporated it into the television broadcast. I mean, just think about it. There are some movies where you get so emotional at, and other movies where they just don't strike a chord because they're being broadcast at one of these frequencies that either agitates you or calms you, or the news usually uses the frequency that agitates you.
Well, I mean, just think of movies. I mean,
They know
movies.
fully well what's going on.
What controls the mood of the movie is the music, the vibration
Yes.
of it. And
Star Wars proved that.
when they want you to experience fear, they accelerate the music to intensify anxiety. So you're sitting on the edge of your seat and you're shaking.
And it's building up. You know, you can't see the bad guy, but you know he's
Yep.
coming. The music tells you that somebody's going to get killed. Oh my God, who is it going to be?
But that's
Right,
when
and
you get
there's either
outside
good
of
acting or the acting is horribly bad, but you don't care because you're already in that frequency. So I mean, they could, a cartoon could walk out and go boo, and you would pee yourself and fall out of your chair.
Oh, how many times have they done that? You'll be watching a message on a phone and it's really calm and tranquil, and then all of a sudden, they'll have this cat or this ghost or something just pop onto the screen, and it freaks you out. Why? Because it takes you out of the resonance where you were before, and then it's those abrupt changes that they try and do. It's that shock factor.
That's
It's
where you got to
creating a
remind
permanent
yourself to bring
PTSD.
yourself back. That's where you got to bring yourself back to be in charge of how you feel. You can watch a movie, stop, and go, okay, I know I'm affected by that. I'm going to come back and recenter, because everything, I mean, I was making a point about you choose how you feel. Now, of course, you're going to run into situations where you'll have challenges. You'll go to the grocery store and someone cuts you off or cut you off in traffic, or in the grocery store, someone will, jump in front of you or whatever. Even then, that's a moment to recognize I attracted that situation. Now I'm going to choose how I look at it. Now, is there a
So you attracted the situation so that you could choose on how you looked at it and how you interacted with it,
but
because
there's
it's one
also
of
a
the points where you're
vibrational match. there's a vibrational match, something that you need to. It's a reflection of self.
Yeah, it's something that you need to learn on your walk and journey through this holographic multiverse. Okay, and so your resonance brings that next problem onto you because it's something
Going
that you
back
have
to what
to get
Carl
over.
said,
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you continue, Mud Rabbit. Go ahead.
going
What
back
did
to what Carl said about the entities around us, if you could see what was over there, we'd probably be terrified. But these entities wait for moments like that for when you have these encounters with other people. They seize on those moments.
And that's where the empowerment.
So if you're having a negative reaction to somebody in public, think about what's influencing you.
Right.
Is it a person or is it something else? And the person's just your target.
Oh, there goes my sound.
No,
No,
you sound still here.
But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, most of the thoughts in your head are not yours. It doesn't.
But see, one of the things is that many of the thoughts that are born in our head as well might not be in the correct resonance. But yeah, evil lies within. The question is whether or not you're going to allow to process that, allow it to grow, give it more energy, externalize that. That's what you don't want to do. Okay, whenever you get these negative feelings, you try and find either some deeper reason for them to where you can fix it, or you recognize it as a negative feeling that you just need to brush off, like Carl had said before. The more you think about it, the more you ruminate over it, like you said, Todd, the more you're feeding that energy. You create this energy ball. And that energy ball eventually just builds up so much that you got to spit it out in a second energy level, which is voice, frequency, vibration. You're spreading the message to somebody else to where they can start ruminating and building their own energy balls. And after people have these conversations and that energy is elevated to another level, somebody actually takes an action and it goes on to the third energy level, and evil or good is birthed onto the world in a physical reality. And it all starts with feeding those initial thoughts. So if you feel a negative thought, you've got to replace it with something else that you're going to feed and ruminate over and contemplate and think about.
As well as every thought is energy coming from us, and we
Exactly.
are creating.
Yes.
Well,
That's what I was trying to talk about. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So let's go back to all of this has form. Okay. So these thoughts, these energies, these emotions, they all have form. All right. When they're generated, they come out and they spiral up and they spiral out. And as they're coming up and out, you experience them, you feel them. Before they reach the top of the toroid field, you're already analyzing your physical response to this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you react. And then you send it out into the world, into the toroid field. Well, it's rotating and coming down, and then it stops and it rotates the other way.
And it
And
comes
then
back at you.
down, and then it comes right back up. And it's just the opposite of what you sent out. So the more powerful emotion and thoughts that you have in the beginning, when they come back and manifest again on the reverse and on the opposite side of it, and you're not prepared, it's going to kick you in the butt. And
Well,
you're going to have
but you're hold on. I got to catch you down there on that one, because what you feed into the system is what you will get back. You feed positivity into the system, you will get positivity back eventually. Why? Because that's the way it fucking works. Now, what you're talking about is that whenever you start emitting light, you start being that light, you start being the good and doing good things into the world. Yes, the evil will try and blind you, and that's where it comes back at you even harder. Why? Because if you are being a brighter light, you will be attacked more heavily. It's not that what you are doing is bringing the, no, what you are doing is bringing good upon the world, but evil wants to crush that. So all light can always push back evil. And what you got to realize is those attacks are simply just that. They're
But
attacks.
there's something to be said for living by default versus living by intent. Living by default is just waking up, you stub your toe, and now you're pissed. Waking up, stub your toe, and say, okay, I stubbed my toe, I'm going to fix it, and I'm going to go back to deciding to feel good, because it feels good to feel good, and I like feeling good. I don't want to feel bad.
Right, but when you feed that rage, when you choose to react ignorantly, and you start cussing
negatively,
cursing out loud, and then you pick a target that is not your toe, and you start negatively affecting that entity or
Externalizing that energy.
now you have created something that is going to come back and
Bite you in the ass.
But that's
Right.
by default. You're living by default things because that's when you got to take
That's
charge.
that's what Zig Ziglar used to call kicking the
How
cat.
you feel every second.
and the cat.
Have you heard that one, kicking the cat?
I kicked the cat today.
No. It's what happens is that you're the director had a bad day because started off on a bad day because his meeting with the shareholders went bad, and so he bitches at his manager. The manager ends up getting chewed out by the director, so he takes the supervisors and he bitches at them. The supervisors can't do anything against the managers, so they take it out on the employees. The employees, they can't complain about the supervisors, so they take it out on the interns and the help. And eventually they get back home and they take it out on the kids, and the kid can't complain about his dad, and he gets there and he kicks the cat. The cat has nothing to do with the shareholder meeting that the director had in the morning, but the energy ended with that fucking cat. They had to kick the cat. So the point of the thing is, don't kick the cat. The cat had nothing to do with it. Don't kick somebody else for something that's got nothing to do with them. Just because you feel bad, you're going to kick the cat. So don't kick the cat, because it's that feeding it forward type stuff. The more we end up being the negative cog and building up that negativity and pushing it forward onto others, the more we end up creating that negativity around it.
But it's a practice of not being self-aware.
Yeah.
People are not practicing being self-aware. That's the most important part. Being totally self-aware in every single moment. Even if you're taking a shit, be self-aware.
just realize that you're constantly being influenced. I mean,
That too.
not only do we have these entities that live outside of our visual dimension, but we have AI entities and deep state entities that are broadcasting information to you to force you to feel some certain ways or thoughts. They have
And I agree.
brain to skull, or what is it, voice to skull technology. Go ahead.
They call that the voice of God.
Yeah, voice of God
All of a sudden,
technology.
you hear it in your skull, and you're like, oh,
But you're
turn
always
right
in
at the left
charge.
rate.
You are always in charge.
Yes.
Well, see, that's the way it is right
you have
now,
to
and
say
that's
it.
what they're trying to take away, because that ability for you to be in charge, if you are still control of your own brain. Now, that interaction that they're trying to do to make sure that you can click in and you can interact faster with the computer, that's to facilitate our human interaction with the computer, so the computer can do more and faster of what we need it to do. No, that is giving the AI system direct control of your brain. You think they haven't already hacked fucking human brain? So the second that you connect up to that, you become that cyborg. The AI will get in there, and just like the Borg in Star Trek and everything else, you will have your own will, but at the same time, it is useless to resist, because you'll try and do it, but the second you try, you'll be
Well,
forced to go somewhere else. But we haven't reached that point yet, but we're almost there, and people have to take the choice of being able to be
And that's why
in.
I say I have no owners is a very empowering statement. If you practice that and keep getting that committed to your mind, then keep taking steps in that direction. I'm in charge. I have no owners. Easy. I know what you're talking about, Carl. There are influences out there, and they're waiting for that loophole. When you allow yourself that opening,
Yep.
you get frustrated, mad, angry, all that loose that you're letting go, they connect and they line
They'll
up,
plug in there.
and then
They'll plug right in there.
Well, I mean, now here's the worst part: is you could stub your toe in the morning, and they'll attach themselves to you and just start feeding on you, but you won't experience them or hear. They won't manipulate your thoughts until much later in the day, when you're weaker, tired, no energy. That's when they get you. It's right before you go to bed. The end of the day, you're tired, you're exhausted. Now you're not vibrating as high as you used to be. So this is when they have the most opportunity to get you to feed their wolf, feed their negativity.
but
And
you're
that's
still in charge of your vibration. And that's
Right.
where it's up to you to decide, okay, I had a bad experience, but don't judge it, let it go, and decide you're in charge.
Well,
I'm in charge.
it's a quantum movie,
It's
and
my house.
every instant we are in charge of what's going to happen in the very next instant. And what energy you allow to influence you in that moment is going to define the actions that you take. So it's in what state are you in? If you allow yourself to fall into a negative state and stay in
Louisiana,
a negative,
babe. That's what state I'm in. I'm in
And it
Louisiana.
and it's even all the things that's going on, these conspiracies and that. People will come to me with say, "Well, that's not so dark," or "That's so this and that." I'm just I recognize the fact that I came into this world to have this experience. I chose to come here for this. So I'm still
Yep.
going to be in charge, even though I know there's bad things. I know there's murder, but I can tell you this, my vibrational content and where I stand, I don't see murder. I've never seen murder. I don't think I'll ever will see murder because that's not my vibrational lineup.
you're not in areas generally that will be conducive to that kind of thing. And that's what you're like birds of a feather would flock together. So you don't end up being in a situation where it will involve murder. Thank God you've never been in the middle of a war. Otherwise, you'd understand, that it does happen and is around. But your vibrational level will determine the types of people that vibe with you, that have the same vibrational level as you, and will allow you to avoid those things. Why? Because if you don't like murder, you don't like people stealing shit, you don't like people lying, you're going to be around people that have those same traits, those same vibrations. And whenever you're around those people, those things aren't necessarily going to happen because friends that actually respect and you know care for one another or take care of each other, they're not going to kill each other. And so that in those environments, you're not going to be facing racism.
But
So the more you
this is
commit
how
that,
we get to 4D in this type of thinking. On top of the fact of recognizing making peace with duality. We're so hung up in getting caught up in that wheel. We got to back up and recognize, don't get yourself caught up in the wheel. That's why I'm saying take charge of your feelings and your vibration and then allow. When you see something happening, you have to be more allowing. Sure, service to others will be help someone, but you don't take, you see a car accident, you can't change the condition. So putting your heart out there is not it's not helping anything. Allowing yourself to get deep feelings of get out there, help, do the best you can, know you did the best you can, and still be in charge of your vibrations.
because it's out of your hands. You can only do what you could actually do. You can only do what you actually did. If you could have done more, that's fine, but you can't feel bad about not having done more. For example, there was one time I was given a private class and I hear an accident. I could have continued on with the class. It was no big deal. Um, but it sounded like a different kind of accident. And so I was curious, and so I paused the class. We were at the student's house, and so he came out with me, and we saw that it was a delivery truck that had actually run over a biker, right? And so automatically I go down to see what I can do to help the biker. I tell the student to go in and grab a towel, because I saw blood around it. So, you're going to do a tourniquet or something, stop the bleeding and that sort of thing. Um, as soon as I got there, I saw that it was completely open in the back and it was oozing. So, at that instant that the guy's gone. But I was looking at the guy, and he was looking up, kind of dazed and confused, like in a concussion. He just got a bus, right? So obviously he's dazed and confused. But nothing that I would have been able to do would have helped at that instant, because as soon as I saw what was going on in the back of his cranium, I knew he was already gone, even though he wasn't yet.
Well, I don't know
So
about
and
that. I mean,
so at that point, it's like, okay, somebody called an ambulance. Somebody's aware the guy's being taken care of. At that point, I went back, to the student, and we ended up continuing the class. Why? Because we did what we could do. We could do no more. Didn't get emotionally. Oh my God, somebody died in front of me. Oh, in trauma. What am I going to do? No. You go back, and I continued the class. We finished the class. I ended up driving home. Now, as I was driving home, I couldn't get the image of that guy's brain oozing out of his skull out of my head, but to this day I can see it. There, but I didn't allow it to negative. I mean, I didn't go into a swirl or anything else. You just contemplate it because
You don't forget those things.
you
Oh,
don't.
she speaks. There's Mud Rabbit.
She'll be in and out. Like she said, she's between phone, laptop, and tablet. So one of them will work. But
Well, I mean, so there's, something, I had visited my dad in New York, and we stopped at a gas station, and we saw this car drive by. The passenger door opened up, and this guy fell out of the car, rolled, smacked his head several times on the asphalt. And of course, I'm wearing solid white. Got my personal jersey, which was solid white with my name on it, and I was wearing white exercising pants or whatnot, white Dallas Cowboy tennis shoes. And this poor guy is just bleeding out all over the place. And I can't remember. Anyway, I don't think I called the cops, but my dad was there. I had him call the cops, and they sent an ambulance down. And anyway, so the first one was on the scene was me, and then I was trying to support his head and keep him from moving. And then the fire department showed up. Then the police department showed up, and they all just stood around and looked at this guy. And I'm like, look, I need somebody to go inside and get a roll of paper towels. So we put it behind his neck, so he stopped smashing his head into the concrete or asphalt. I need you to hold his legs. And I started, I calling him by name because they're just standing there looking like, dude, that dude's messed up. He ain't gonna make it. I'm like, oh God, you guys are stupid. Get down here. And anyway, so it was just a messed up situation, and I still didn't get any blood on me, thank God. But it's amazed how many people see something, an accident like that, and they just stand around and look. It's like they don't know what to do. It's like they never seen this before.
See, that was the EMS. They were the ones supposed to be responding and doing something.
Yeah, they didn't say, all right, Mr. Sorrells, I got this. Why don't you kick rocks and go about your business? I got this.
They were like, no, we've
like,
seen this.
He's doing a great job. Hey, somebody go inside and give me some coffee. I mean,
it wasn't like that. It was the thing is that
for me, it was like that.
Yeah, that's the way you perceived it, but it's not necessarily like that. What happens is that they do this day in and day out every fucking day, and they see different situations, and we create statistical probabilities within our brain. And Blink will explain this. The more experience that you have, the quicker you can make a snap decision that actually reflects years of experience and everything else. And so sometimes they'll know, oh, I got a guy like this, 3 weeks ago, and he died before I got to the hospital. Got a guy looking like that a couple of months ago, and he got to the hospital and died within 3 hours. I got another guy that looked just like that a couple of years ago, and I didn't even get him into the hospital, and he was out. So they have these statistical realities that they wrote. So depending on what I've already seen, that guy's already gone, so I'm not going to do anything or make an effort to save him because he's already gone. That, unfortunately, is the process that ends up building into that situation. So they're standing around. In their mind, they're probably going, dumbass is thinking he's actually going to save this guy. Go ahead, buddy. Knock yourself out. We've seen it, been there, bought the T-shirt. Doesn't fucking work, but go right ahead. Get blood all over those white shoes. Sometimes that's what happens. It's like cops get trigger happy because they've been in so many dangerous situations and they've seen so much shit that they think that is a probabilistic norm. And so anybody that they see, they automatically assume is a perp or a bad guy or somebody who just hasn't done something wrong, somebody trying to hide something from them. Because after a while, that's the statistical reality that they build their vision of reality around. And it affects their behavior that others don't understand because, oh, no, you didn't have to shoot that guy. He was just a crackhead with a knife walking down the street.
That's more training. That's more training.
It should be. But the thing is, it should be training, but a lot of these guys aren't trained. And a lot of it is trauma because in reality, they deal with a lot of
but you also have a lot of people in the world
that are just fucking evil.
There's a lot of people in the world who just don't value human life.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to defend that. I was trying to. No, I wasn't trying to just. I don't. Okay, here's the thing. We mirror things, and we sometimes assume that life is the way we are, and I've had different things that have painted the ability to think that somebody just is pure evil was so hard of a notion for me to understand, to even contemplate that somebody could actually be like that. It took me a while to actually realize that, but you're absolutely right. Some people just get their jollies off of somebody else
Yeah,
being
there
in
are
pain.
people out there that are evil, but you've also got to understand there are people out there who don't, their heart chakra is not engaged. They don't have the capacity for empathy or compassion. So these are the people who just kind of stand around with a dumb look on their face because they don't know how to process what
Yep.
they're seeing. It's not in their being.
Yeah. And
Well,
that,
you
on so
have
many
to.
different levels, that happens.
And these people are policemen.
Yeah.
These people are paramedics. These people are policemen. These people are secretaries. These people are car salesmen. These people are intermixed with ours. This is the two race theory. And
Well,
you've
for
got
me,
people who simply cannot feel above the waist.
I mean, a lot. I mean, I don't know. For me, I went through a lot, and there was a long period in my life where that empathy for other people I just didn't have anymore.
I
I
lost
had it
that
as
for a
a
while.
child, I had it as a teenager, but after 2 tours and years of nonsense, I just didn't have it anymore. And it took a lot of self realization, I guess, to start getting those feelings back for other people. So
You have to be
it's
good with yourself. I mean,
yeah,
when you didn't have empathy for others, you were in a bad place. I'm assuming
Oh,
because you
you
have to
can lose
stretch your.
them.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
You can
I
lose the
did too.
capacity.
I did for a while. I mean, I was a really hateful person, but you get back and you realize that it's not a good place to be, and you try and bring back yourself back from that. And so, learning empathy for being understanding and being patient with people that don't get it is a long process and something that
Now, if you
you know.
consider that these entities,
oh, that was
if
close,
you
Mug Rabbit.
if
Go
Okay,
you
you
ahead.
should go.
consider these entities that we can't see that are constantly trying to interfere, they don't feed on people who don't have it above the waist. They only feed on people whose heart chakra is fully working.
Because
Otherwise, the
that's where the
loosh isn't
food's at.
good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so they don't feed on them. Interesting. Interesting.
No,
The
they
energy
feed
and
on people
vibration.
who feel compassion, who feel empathy. It's the biggest charge of loosh for them to get us to think negatively. The portals in the world who don't think above the waist, whose energy doesn't come, it comes up as a mirror from the waist up instead of circulating like it should in a chakra.
Yeah.
It
Hmm.
These people, there's no good feed off of them, but they're used as puppets to drain the people who do have the upper chakras fully working, because that's the good food. That's the good loosh.
Yeah.
What's that?
The younger and the more pure that they are, the more that they're being attacked nowadays, and it's the attacks are constant and pervasive and all over the place.
Then there's
So
movies. Then movies also give you an artificial, your mind doesn't know the difference, and creating loose for them.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And then you see the psychopaths in the
It's
movies.
programming.
Yeah.
because they're also putting you in that
Well, the
mindset.
movies and the music open up the little doors in us to allow these things to get in.
There you go.
I mean, why? I mean, just look. Back when we were children, they had cartoons that had moral programming. You know, and that's how
Well,
you
yeah,
do it.
I
That
remember Tom smoking a
yeah,
cigarette
blah
after
blah
he was
blah.
chasing Jerry.
Okay.
That was my
Anyway,
favorite
but
one.
you had Little House on the Prairie, you had family orientated TV shows, and all that went away. And if you look at the constant TV shows and movies that are coming out, they really focus on death and gore and just horrific. There's no
Yeah.
moral, there's no morality, there's no uh there's no God, there's no nothing but be a master to something else, and by all means, sacrifice and kill as much as and often as you can, and live in these deep, dark, you know, holes that they want you to think reality is. Um, there's no storytelling anymore. There's no creativity. It's only mimic. It's only a bastardization
because they don't have the connection to the creative spirit anymore. They've lost it. And so all they can do is copy and mirror again and just copy again, and that's what they do. They have that. They don't have that creative spirit to be able to build their vision, their raison d'être, and that sort of thing. So
because they're all Khazarians, man. They're all Khazarians. They're all just damn actors. Just steal.
But not all of them. But they end up influencing so many others that end up fighting for their cause. And that brings us back to exactly the beginning of the show, because I'm thinking that's almost their last stand. I mean, they're fighting hard for that, because after that's gone, they're toast, because they have nowhere else to hide. What I'm thinking, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how we ended up where it started.
That's kind of a perfect circle, and that's the way things are
connected,
kind of supposed to go. It's all connected, and it's all the toroidal field. It all comes back to the energy source. Cassiopeia, organic portals. Okay.
Yes, Mike, you still haven't read it.
I did whenever she sent that, but I will open that again.
Yeah, sorry to call you out on that. I haven't. I have to. I'm sorry,
I wanted to give it to Artist 61 so she'd know what we were talking about.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I haven't.
Because I already read it, and a good article. Definitely, Artist 61 gotta read that one. Definitely. Okay. Still, what we did full circle. We're back on what's going on in the theater of the unreal that is today.
The fake war. Well, it's not fake war, but it's fake media pushing a fake war.
Media pouring.
I mean, you don't understand. A war requires two parties to conflict and fight each other.
But they are. The problem is that one of the parties is actually shooting itself. In order to make
got one party wiping out all of their military gear, and then the other party, the conflicting party, shooting themselves and their civilian counterparts, blaming it on the other guy. So that's not a war.
True.
It's
not a Hollywood drama. It's a Hollywood drama.
So there is no war. Can we all agree on that? There's no war.
No, well, there's some kind of conflict where explosions are happening, and so some people call that a war. But then again, at the same time, what was Iraq? What was Afghanistan? And how the hell did we give them? And how the hell did we give them $79 billion or $82 billion worth of equipment, and nobody said a damn thing?
But are there explosions? Are there explosions, or are these pre-recorded?
I know. But how does the public not? I mean,
they still think an airplane took down 2 towers, okay, or 3 towers. 2 planes took down 3 towers,
and they still think that one shooter took out the most powerful man on the planet.
Right, and that with a magic bullet.
Exactly.
Split 6 pieces, and
But we're all crazy because we know what the fuck went on. But still, whenever you know all what happens, you got to realize that that's all over there. But it's not where you're at.
Yep.
Where you're at is another reality. The problem is that it will affect where you're at, because gas is at $7, because inflation is skyrocketing, because people are unable to do the same things that they did before, because of what they're trying to build in our minds.
And just a reminder for those that just came into the show this late, if Russia is responsible for our gas prices, which were accelerating at a rapid pace long before Ukraine ever emerged into the public eye, why are Russian gas prices $2 a gallon today, where ours is really high? I mean, we're pushing $6 a gallon in some places. I've seen almost a $7 a gallon sign up. So,
well, that's because the Dems are broke and they got to get it one way or another.
Exactly.
Exactly. Russia. It's not Russia. Russia.
Russia.
So the question is,
Blame it on Russia.
Are we at the precipice, or because there's so many agendas? I mean, we keep hearing the hopium agenda. Oh, the quantum systems are going to come in. Oh, this, all
Not
these
yet.
things.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Well, this Ukraine thing is the Russian thing is taking longer than I expected. I really expected it to be overnight or 1 week and done, but they're dragging it out for some reason, and I don't know why.
well, there's
You know,
labs.
China hasn't even attempted. They've just been throwing up verbal threats about Taiwan. They haven't done anything.
But
So
you can't blow up a lab if there's pathogens and
yes,
viruses. You can't do that because then you're going to unleash it. So that has to
no,
be tactically
burn it up.
properly.
You burn it up, and first of all, those pathogens can't be released like that anyway. What they tell you in movies is a fucking lie. It's a fucking movie.
Right.
Okay? You don't just take a vial of a deadly pathogen in it, open it up, and now the entire world's contaminated. It doesn't work like that. You got to remember, it's dead.
Hold on. That's what got us a warning last time. Let's not go there.
Diplomats transfer them all the time.
I was going to say zombies. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zombies, man.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, but we're living among lots of fucking zombies.
Yes,
People
lots
that
of zombies.
they walk around and one day leads to another, and they don't remember last week, and they don't remember what they had for breakfast, and they don't remember a couple of years ago because it was so long ago. They
Which
just
is
live
why
in
you see so much emotion and nonstop screaming from every platform and every news station, and they're all saying the same thing. What they're not saying is what's really going on.
Yeah.
What they're not showing you is that the people of Ukraine, I would say about 70% of the people of Ukraine are still going about their daily businesses like nothing's ever happened. Small
That is
portions are affected by it, but what you don't see is
I was going to say Russians are going into their stores, patronizing them, fist pumping. Hey, appreciate what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, they're their brother and sisters.
Yeah, we're here to rescue you guys. We know what's going on. We're not here to fight you. Trust me, we're here to help you.
And they are. The videos of them actually feeding people that are hungry, of food coming in, water supplies coming in, of them reopening water supplies because Crimea was fucking dying of thirst, because what was the first thing that Ukraine did? They cut off the water to Crimea. So when Russia took over Mariupol, they restored water to Crimea and they fed the people of Mariupol. I mean, but these are different feeds that are coming out. Others will say that would be false or unreal, and we
their
don't know
power
what
grid is still up. Their internet is still up.
exactly. Which would be two things that you would do when you
the
invade.
Russians
First
are
thing
providing
is
humanitarian aid.
I mean,
exactly,
I kind of remember,
and they're not destroying everything. They're just hitting specific targets.
When we went into Iraq, first thing we hit was the power grid. First thing we hit was communications. Then the power grid.
I was going to say communications.
And then we controlled all their infrastructure. They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't get supplies. They couldn't get troops. But that was a real invasion. I mean, we did
under false pretenses, but it was a real invasion.
Yes. And they still, most of them didn't resist. Most of the civilian population was just like, "Whoa, hey, y'all are here. I got a gun, man. Just
take
me to the chow hall, and I'll chill out over there." It's like, all right, not a problem, you guys. Move on along. And
move on along.
3 weeks before the war started, I think we had close to 10,000 people lined up across the border, just waiting to come across into Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's they
but
don't.
See now, but at the same time,
Ukraine doesn't reflect reality.
But hold on. There are people trying to do the exact same thing in Ukraine, but instead of being allowed to leave and let the fighting happen among the professionals, they are being shot for trying to leave. And I remember they did that in East Berlin. People tried to buy their own people. They are being forced to go back with 10 bullets in a gun to, face their own death.
No, that's the idiots that want to be heroes and go fight for Ukraine. And all these mercenaries and MS-13. What's that?
What's the latest death toll on the V?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are we going to get back to that? Because global death tolls have not changed significantly since 2017. We're still in the average up and down that it has been for the last 5 or 6 years.
But the
Uh,
9 pages of side effects finally did get released. They didn't hold on to it
Oh,
for 75 years. They did
oh,
release
great.
the 9 pages of side effects.
But that was just Pfizer or Moderna as well?
Just Pfizer. Just Pfizer. Not J&J, not Moderna, not any of them. Just
Those
Pfizer.
are, and there are others that I'm trying to
And I
look
guess
into.
that's why.
I have a question. Has anybody actually isolated this thing? But I'm not going to talk about viruses, especially with no. I'm not going to get on that topic. I don't want to get another
Sorry.
one. I couldn't.
Cannot-
You're right.
Let me-
I touched on it. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't
I'll
have.
say it
It's-
briefly. I will say you cannot. It's patented. Because it's patented, there's only one person that could really release an isolation, and that is the person who patented it.
Well,
There's
there
a
you go.
reason we can't isolate it is because it's patented. That's
But
all I
if
got to say.
okay, perfect. Well, that's what
And
that's
it's patented, that
information.
means it is man-made. It is not.
Which it is. Yeah, true. However, the patent thing, because I have a general idea of who owns the patent or who also participates in the patent, and so that's an interesting information as well that I was actually delving into today. Earlier, there are questions that I have to.
I'm kind of curious too. You know how you go to the grocery store and they put limits on what you can buy, which I understand because the company, other people come from other towns and they
I've
buy
heard-
all the stuff. But why? How come Bill Gates doesn't have a limit on the property that he buys? Shouldn't there be
The biggest farm owner,
Or
Bill
China.
Gates, is the biggest farm owner.
Yeah, the two largest landowners in America.
That's
are China.
all going to get confiscated.
Hopefully, we've also got BlackRock and Vanguard that are buying up residentials so that everyone will be paying rent instead of having anything. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
Do you know another name for BlackRock?
Mm.
Skynet.
I'll be back. I'm here to help you.
Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor. I must find Sarah Connor. That's
But
oh my
we do
god.
admit that there are some things that are.
You do know that Mad Max was set in this year, right? Mad Max is supposed to be in 2022.
Was it?
Oh yeah, that's a little bit of predictive.
Only if
What
they
did you
got
say, Todd? I cut you off.
Oh no, I was just going to say, as far as disclosure, it's still, bit by bit.
But are we ever going to have real disclosure? I mean, seriously, I don't know if they actually can.
I don't think they're going to rip the Band-Aid off. It sounds like to me they just want to do these little, nuggets. And that's it.
Oh man.
There are some that are actually marketing a dead viral one. That's one of the things that I'm looking into, but it's associated to China, and the Brazilian government's doing it as well, and so that's
Right.
a whole other thing. They say they have, and so that's information that I actually need to back up because I thought that nobody had. You had Stanford that asked for 1,500 cases from the CDC, and all of them were flu A and B. And so I wasn't sure if it had been, but that was from mid last year. And so I wasn't sure if anything had been done before that. But that was the main reason why I asked about the patent, because the one who's isolated is the one who developed it, and the one who developed it has a patent. And guess who, where that was done? They own all the patents of anything that's done in their country. And so anything that they're doing would most likely have something based on that patent to begin with. But all that ends up being big ass rabbit holes that I'm diving down right now myself. But that's a whole nother story. No, you're good. You're good. No problem. Once I apologize because I blocked your ass earlier. So sorry, that wasn't a good thing. But it is a good question because we really don't know who has, because nobody admits that they had. So it's a really big conundrum and a really big idea of no information is coming out anymore.
Okay. So what was your question there, Angel? Because Mike was rambling on about it, and
I did.
What it was.
No, I mean, I'm just really, the thing is, it'd be nice if we just had some indication of where we're going.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Well, here's what's what is
Well, yeah, we're
being
talking about disclosure.
shadowed, what is being, miraged out there. The whole Jacera, Nacera, and all this other fun stuff. Uh, and to be honest, the way
That just sounds like the second beast system to me.
right, the way it's looking is they want to maintain the infrastructure of our society that we have today. They just want to remove the
All the
Satanists.
corrupt individuals. Yeah.
They just want to
They want
remove
to take control.
the deep state, so they can control it and still keep us with their foot on top of our head. But they're going to give us a little bit more
Yeah.
than
what the other
than
guys
the
were.
other guys did, but just a little bit more.
So we're a little bit happier in what we're
Woohoo, we're free. No, we just have a new slave master. Yay! Which I hope by, this channel and other channels getting out there, we got to win the first battle first. We got to win the first war first, which is let's get rid of the deep state. Let's get rid of the Satanists. And after this war is over with and they proclaim freedom, then we can take it to, because we will be much more, we'll have a much bigger army. Then we can take it to our pretend leaders that show up afterwards and tear this whole fucking system burn it to the fucking.
You can't tear down system that is so pervasive. The only way that we can do is build around. For example, during the Masters in Economics, one of the things that you realize is that economic systems happen in the vacuum of the control of the previous dominating economic system. So it can only come in the vacuums. And where we find is there are no vacuums in this global domination structure unless we create them ourselves with our individual communities, with those around us, creating that ability for us to survive outside the system. We create our own vacuum and create the system. Now, if they all end up emulating a similar system, if that system works, that's fine. The Venus Project was a great idea. Don't know how well that worked. We've also got the Ubuntu project. That's working.
Yes.
But still, at the same time, you can't necessarily take them mainstream until the mainstream actually falls apart. Now, the thing is that the dominant economic structure that's prevalent today is well beyond its last legs. It's gone well beyond the 500-year Kundiev cycle. It was on that in 45. It's bordering on 600 years. It's
Right.
well over that.
We're not going that far. We're not going that far yet. We're just
right.
trying to look at. So, I speculated that things are moving so fast that we would have seen China invade Taiwan last week. That didn't happen. Okay?
Should have.
So what it's
Or this week, I was expecting to have a title for Taiwan today, but it didn't. That's why I put fluid. Timelines are fluid.
So
we don't know.
All right. So we also have to look at, we had 4 years of Q. All right. And it's only been 13, 15 months. I don't know how long it's been since Biden's been in office. So I'm assuming we're going to see at least a mirror. Now, President Trump came out and said, yes, things are going to happen before 2024. And good God, I fucking hope so. I mean, this is just dragging out, and and they still haven't even. I mean, nothing is serious. Nothing changes until they hit mainstream media. Doesn't matter, if the Queen is dead. It doesn't matter if the Vatican is dead. It doesn't matter
until the mainstream media lets the general public know.
If they're still pushing the same bullshit on mainstream, then
matter.
Billions of people are going to be asleep, and they will never wake up.
And
so there's no change. Yeah, there will be no change until you start to see mainstream change.
And that's where's this? Where is? We know that CNN lost so much viewership, and so where are they getting this news? Is it on
4 a.m. 4 a.m. talking points?
4 a.m. talking points came from the Associated Press.
CNN is one corporation, but every news channel, every local news channel on this fucking planet gets the 4 a.m. talking points from the same people.
And they have for since the 1820s. Whenever we had the telegraph and this sort of shit, they would No, but the
Well,
newspapers in the beginning would get their news from New York or from England, London, or whatever. They'd get it through this teletype. And so they would get the teletype and they would read this, and everybody got the exact same teletype. And so everybody's headlines ended up being the same because that was the news of the day that was being sent out to all of them. Now, this old teletype, which is why the news coming in today is.
But you're talking about.
But that's the same thing. It's just complete.
The rest of the news, the news was about local news that had nothing to do with it. But they would still repeat, whatever Titanic sank. Yeah. Everybody talked about the Titanic sinking. So, right. But it wasn't until after JFK went down did the CIA actually infiltrate mainstream media, and that's when you started
Project Mockingbird.
Right, less and less local, and more repeated nonsense. And it just doesn't take much to look at and find one of those videos where they have 50 channels using the exact same verbiage, to realize that it is all controlled. But like I said, we got to get erased, stop, put an end to the 4 a.m. talking points.
But where would we get our news from? How would we know what's real?
Oh yeah. Oh well, isn't there? God, what was his name? And I can't remember it. Pena's Perspective, I think. That's a good place. Red Pill 78 is another really good place.
That's another really good place.
But
you got to follow the cabal. You got to follow the cabal on Telegram. That's another one.
I am not censored, by the way.
There you go.
My Facebook page.
Your Facebook page has a lot of stuff.
You were censored. You were censored.
And we're limited as to what we can talk about here. And my Rumble channel is not censored. I can talk about all kinds of shit. I just haven't been going live over there, and I actually need to update that as well. You're not censored over in Rumble. It's a good thing. But that's those are other stories. You get X22, and you had And We Know, which you had on your Telegram channel as well. So yeah, And We Know, Truth and Art is a good one. X22 is one that twice a day you got financial news and political news, so that's always a good thing. Darth Vader is going to give us our news, and Secure Team 10 is also a good one that we all look at. So these are all channels that we start looking within, because that's the only thing that's real. Everything else is just a veil that's pulled over your eyes. The influence and filter how you will react to the world depending on how you were triggered in the beginning of the day along with your coffee. So we look for these things, but mainstream media isn't going to be the source of the majority of those anymore, and people are waking up all over the world.
I want to show you something real quick. Can you bring up my Follow the Cabal again?
I will see if I can actually do that. So
just a little piece of evidence to everybody keep an eye out for. But it's also a point to show you what you're seeing is a movie. It's fake. It's all manipulated.
All right. So which one are we looking at? Because I'm down at the bottom of yours.
It's the guy on the gurney. So you might have to scroll over.
So you're looking at my screen. So tell me when to stop. Oh, this is where you have And We Know from today. Right? The flag.
That symbolizes the end of the New World Order. Just keep going. Keep going.
And We Know. Yeah, because it's the Tower of Babel. Yeah, it's falling. Exactly.
That's a really good video to watch. Just keep going.
All right.
Sorry, I'm trying to comment as we're going down.
No, but that's absolutely perfect because you know your own channel, so that's absolutely fantastic.
Keep stopping.
You have so much information. That's why it's great stuff.
Scroll down. Just
you can always repost it. So it's right there.
Click that link. It's 45 seconds long. This is the video that the Russian police just put out.
Now that would be awesome to see.
And what this is saying is you are either Z or not Z. Not Z.
Oh, or
And that's
not
what they're pushing for.
Z.
Yes, not Z.
There you go.
Right.
God,
So,
now I got symbolism.
So I mean, I love that.
This was the guy in the the brown shirt that we were looking for a while ago, wasn't
Right.
it?
Yeah, he's the one that went over there, got his AK-47 with 10
And
rounds.
they
And
gave
said,
and
What
they,
is going on? All right. We were part of the Georgia National Legion, the 102nd Ukrainian Territorial Defense. Okay. Our base got fucked up. The base right next to us got fucked up. Americans, British, and tons of British dead. Right? They're not saying nothing. They're counting our dead as their dead. They're trying to send us to Kiev with no fucking weapons, no kit, no fucking plates. The people who are lucky enough to get weapons are only getting magazines with like 10 fucking rounds, okay? When they wanted to send us to Kiev, we said no. Our whole group, a bunch of Americans, Canadians, British. So they told us we had to get the fuck out of there. They were going to shoot us in the back, all right? So me, this British guy, and another American, we fucking hid in the back of an ambulance to get out. We got to the border, and it was a whole nother mess. When you get to the border, anyone who has kit, anyone who has any military shit, they're fucking pulling you out of the line and they're sending you back to the front. We got dropped off about 5 clicks from the fucking from the border, and we walked. And we get to the border, and this humanitarian group with a bunch of ex-SF veterans from England pull us to the side and say, you need to get, like, pulled us out and fucking, like, hit us. And they were like, you need to dump all your kit. They're pulling people out, cutting up passports, sending them back. So we dumped our shit. We got, like, all of our fucking, we got in, like, Red Cross vests, and they had, like, fucking humanitarian passes to get us through the Ukrainian border. People need to stop coming here. It's a trap, and they're not letting you fucking leave. The best way to leave is like in a Vic or a car or something. People who get on by vehicle have a better chance of hiding their fucking kit in the back, doing whatever the fuck they can, but do not try to leave Ukraine on foot if you're a volunteer. It's a mess. And it's a trap. And I have multiple people who can confirm this story for me. I'm getting.
All right.
Go to his chat, and I threw a video there.
I don't know where his fucking chat. Don't complicate things for me. I'm good enough that I'm doing this today. I mean, holy shit.
So then you go up to the dots, you go to info, and then you go to discuss, and then you're in this chat.
Well,
this was what you're pinned. This was pinned.
Right.
The alliance is now crystal clear in public.
Yeah.
Is this the booms?
Yeah, Russia, China, Brazil, and India call for investigations into the U.S. biolabs in Ukraine, representing about half of the world's population.
Well, absolutely.
So, and those are the same countries that refuse to back Ukraine.
But they're also the BRICS.
The what?
The BRIC countries. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa was the only other one that was there. So those are the new future of the world, the BRICS that they were calling them before. So, but that was the one that was pinned. Yeah, they're all calling into that. So we're going to see how far that goes and how much influence. But on the West, it's going to be kind of difficult because nobody listens to the Russians or Chinese and India. Well, who knows? But it's all bizarre. From here, where's we also can go?
Just go down, because when you click on one of my pinned comments,
it tosses me way the hell up there.
Scroll up.
Up.
Go to the right there. Stop. Down. What's his name? Black guy.
Okay. Right there.
Click that.
Morgan Freeman.
This is a long version.
Not Morgan Freeman. What you see is not real. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me? What is your perception of reality? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real?
I think it's extraordinary technology, and it's really going to be a game changer.
What you see on screen is all non-human, or should I say digital, just as it should be.
We had a kid walking in the middle of a building one time. That's what it was. So it's all video.
It's all fake deeps.
Deep fakes. So we've gotten to the point of the Q drops of deep fakes.
Yeah.
Now we're pushing
Yeah.
deep fakes. It's close to the
And
end.
these are real broadcasts that they have aired on TV as real news. And these are secondary clips. Not all of these. Obviously, these are from movies, but they're showing you both of them. Now, the clip I wanted you to show is probably not too much further down from this, which is an event happening in Ukraine where this journalist. Yeah, keep going down.
Oh yeah, they're telling them go, and
He's on a gurney. He's in a hospital on a bed. No.
Further down.
Yeah, just keep going down. You're looking for a guy on a gurney or on a medical
All right.
in a hospital.
Julian, what's going on with Julian?
He just got denied again from the UK, so they're still refusing to release him.
Shit, doesn't he have a stroke already? In solitary confinement. That's just
Elvis.
telling you about the truth.
Hey, Carl, did you
Yes.
see the video of the record of the media? They were looking at all the dead bodies, and then one of the
The
bodies.
guy gets up. Yeah, he's all like, "Ugh, I can't
Wait,
breathe."
wait, stay down, stay down. You're not
I
supposed to
shared
move.
that on your chat. You could share it into your thing, and then you could play it.
All right, let me see if I'll try and get
Just
that.
hold on. He's
We'll
almost there.
get-
We're
I'm
still
almost
on-
there.
we're still
I'm
on the
almost
thing.
We're talking about the Queen's death and them ordering the Chinese from the Chinese.
And this is another thing. Sean Penn is over there
in Ukraine filming. Yeah,
Filming.
I saw that.
Documentaries. Why are movie studios in Ukraine filming documentaries? Keep going down.
There we go.
Just keep going. These are all really good reads. They don't take too long. They're only a few sentences long. Keep going down.
I know.
If we got time, we'll get back
Yellow
to it.
Fringe. All right.
But I'm trying to stay
That
on
Yellow
this.
Fringe one is, I know
topic.
it's very interesting. So I'm looking for a guy in a gurney. Still not there.
Yes, guy in a gurney. Yeah,
Hospital entrance.
keep going down.
All right.
Oh, wait.
What the hell is this?
That's giant trees. Go up.
Oh, the tree stump. Go up.
Go to the
Wait.
bottom.
This guy.
Okay. Click this. Watch this video. This is the best video ever. Volume up.
It's 5 minutes, but yeah, we got it.
It's the best 5 minutes of your life.
All right.
Oh, sorry, tickle my throat.
Mr. Tuttlebomb? Mr. Tuttle? Yeah. There you go. Good morning, sleepyhead. How you feeling today?
Where am I?
Well, there was an accident, and you're in the hospital. I'm your physician, and we're gonna get you better, and we're gonna get you out of here. But you were in a pretty bad accident. We had to put you into a medically induced coma for a little while.
A coma?
Yeah, you were hit by a bus. It was a lot of a lot of damage, but we got you fixed up.
How long was I under?
You know what? That's not important now.
It's not important.
You're well. You're on the road to wellness.
It's still 2019.
No.
2020? 2021? Oh my gosh. 2022.
There you go. Bingo. It is 2022, and the world's changed quite a bit. So you'll do some adjusting. We'll get you some physical therapy, and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine.
I have to go. I have a grocery store to run.
You know what? I wouldn't be too worried about that. Your the grocery store that you have, your family has, that went out of business.
What?
But listen, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. See, there was an incident, and have you ever heard of Wuhan, China? Okay, me neither. So anyway, something happened in Wuhan. It went global, and a lot of people got very scared. So the government stepped in, and they're like, everybody stay home. They put us on lockdown. So you picked a great time for a coma. But here's the other thing they did. They kind of decided which businesses would do well and which would fail. So like Amazon, the big grocery stores, they did great, but the little guy, you got screwed. You know what? We should probably maybe look at getting you a lawyer for that. You got to have a lawsuit.
Wait. The government does not have the power nor the right to shut down my business.
Thank you. They don't. But they're like, hey, it's an emergency. So they used emergency powers. Nobody could believe it. They're telling people you can't go outside without a mask. They got this shot they're telling people they have to get. Don't tell anybody, but. And it's really, really strange. It's a harsh time to be around. If you don't get the vax, you get in trouble. You got to show papers.
Well, thank God President Trump's in charge. I'm sure he's going to fix everything, right?
It's not President Trump anymore. Remember how the economy was doing great and gas was like $1.95 a gallon? Yeah. Well, now economy's not doing so good. Unemployment's not doing so great. Gas is like $5 a gallon in a lot of places. And the southern border. Oh, there's that's been wide open, which is weird because everybody's afraid of this Wuhan thing.
Well, who's running this show?
Do you remember the Obama administration and Obama's vice president, a guy by the name of Joe Biden, professional politician? There's your president.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, they had this weird election during the whole lockdown thing. And they had like mail drop voting, vote by mail, everybody. Joe Biden got 81 million votes.
Joe Biden could never get 81 million votes.
Well, don't say that out loud or the FBI is going to show up.
So you're telling me it's President Joe Biden?
I know.
The baby sniffer grabs babies. I mean, he really gets.
He gets in there. Yeah, he's in charge. The guy who's never made a big decision. They say we might be getting involved in the Ukraine, getting between them and Russia. It is a train wreck. But you're getting well.
Doc? I want you to put me back under.
What?
I want you to put me back under. I want back in a coma.
I never even thought about that. We could just put you back under. Scooch over. I'm coming with you.
These guys are actually pretty comfortable.
So anyway, I'm sorry. It was such a good skit. I freaking love it. Fox put this on Fox 5. You know what? Anyway, they're always doing these. It's freaking great.
That was
I just had to share it. I'm glad
funny.
you guys enjoyed it.
That was fucking fantastic. The tree stumps, yes, those are giant trees.
Those are giant
We got the Georgia Guidestones. Oh, that was the And We Know episode. I watched that one. They actually got a drone to fly up above it.
The top slat was a sacrificial slat.
Yep, and there was constantly fresh blood on there, so it wasn't just used once. Anyway, definition of stupid: knowing the truth, seeing evidence of the truth, but still believing the lie. Well, okay.
All right, just keep going. That guy's always got some decent stuff. He's got decent comments on it.
Who is being delisted?
Securities and Exchange Commission, Washington, D.C. Please, I can't remember.
Pfizer is being.
Pfizer. Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Pfizer.
They were
Longer
delisted.
FDA.
They are no longer in the Securities and Exchange Commission. They are no longer a viable investment.
No longer on the stock exchange.
Yep. All right. So,
There it is. So this is what all right. So click like pause.
Got it.
All
Paused it.
All right. So
Walk us through this.
So what I want you to pay attention to is the background behind the guy in the tan jacket with the mask on.
All right.
What do you see behind him?
It's like an office bulletin board.
Office bulletin boards, cans of paint on the top, right?
Yeah, well, actually, no. Those are file folders. That's archived files.
Okay.
Those are the type of file, large. You'll put in a trimester of documents into each one of those generally.
All right. Now, hover your mouse and try to find the 16-second mark. Not too far. All right, that was good. All right, hit play and stop at 17.
And we got into a car. Somebody offered to take us to the other bridge, and we crossed the checkpoint.
Okay, so go back to the 17-second mark because you missed it.
Yeah, I'll be there. What were we looking for at 17 seconds?
Just the background on the right.
Film other
All right.
refugees leaving.
16.
And we got.
Oh, interesting.
So where's all the files?
There is no bulletin board and there are no archived files. There's a nurse there now.
So why would they need to green screen and digitally manipulate a hospital?
Interesting.
So wait, this is a movie we're watching? But this is a reporter who was wounded in Ukraine. The Russians are savage.
Look at that. They're even, he's only got his bottom half removed. So what are they doing? They're x-raying his ass.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for the bullet wound and the shrapnel because he was.
Oh, he got shot in the ass. Why? Because he had his head down and his ass up. So he got shot in the ass.
All right. So anyway, I was just trying to.
But it's all green screened.
Yes.
So it's all a freaking movie.
It's all a movie.
It's all a movie. I mean, everything that we see is actually doctored and manipulated and everything else.
Are they mocking us when they do that, or did they just?
No, they actually think we're fucking stupid. They think nobody will notice it, and all that.
Well, I mean, if you just watch it, you don't pay it, and you're just watching. You're watching the actors, and you're watching.
I didn't even notice it. That's why we had to go back and see it again because even I missed it, and I was fucking looking.
It looks like a colonoscopy. That's funny.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what they're about to. So holy shit. Yeah, but that was actually it looked like an X-ray screen. What they do, the panels and that sort of thing, trying to find like it. But yeah, it did look at colonoscopy. He's that's proctologist and that sort of shit. So,
hey, how long can your show go on? I forgot to bring that up.
No, normally it's 2 hours or 2.5, but I got no limits. What do you want to do?
No. I thought you had a cutoff, like YouTube cuts you off or something.
No, well, Mark usually cuts off too because later on it takes a while. But I mean, I do it every week, so it's I usually do an hour and a half or 2 hours because that's what's generally more accepted. People don't like to click on a 5-hour video and that sort of shit. We've well gone over the limit, but we've been covering good things up until now, so I keep it going as long as there's a good conversation and good things going on. I really won't cut it off. When we got to the 1.5 hour mark, I was kind of like, well, when we got to the 1 hour mark and we were everybody having technical difficulties, I was about to call it a night. It all came back together. We got on some good topics. When 2 hours was coming up, I'm like, okay, 2 hours is a good point, but we were in the middle of a really good topic and we were giving it deeper into those things. And so we let it go. So yeah, my cutoffs are shot at this point. It's whenever you guys run out of shit to say.
Well, Nancy's got a great one. Poster, there you go. Give them a big red pill suppository.
With an Oscar to whoosh.
And no Oscars.
And yes, it has been a fast 3 hours. So that would be a decent cutoff point to not make it look too much. But at the same time, if we've got more information that we can put out there, it's good. But at the same time, it's late. Not everybody's used to doing. I've done 5-hour streams, 8-hour streams. I got no problems with that as long as we got information. Those were generally normal banter and conversation. So topic shift and everything else. That's how you can actually get those long ones. We've been basically on trying to stay around. Not always possible with me, but trying to stay around one general topic, which is the fake shit show that's going on over there in Eastern Europe. But about the other things that are also going on, I was expecting tonight to have Taiwan on the show, but it's not, which is why timetables are fluid. Why? Because war is that way. Because, yeah, you might not think Ukraine isn't a real war, shooting war, but at the same time, we are in a much longer and long-term war that is coming to an end as well. And there have been many casualties, and there will be casualties after that war.
all I could say is this is an information war. What you're seeing, this is why
Exactly.
there's so much deception. You get this, when real things happen, like 9/11, you had hundreds of thousands of videos. The CIA and the FBI did their absolute best to confiscate
Confiscated everything.
every one of them. And it was a nightmare. But quite a few got out. And some, even, this year was the first
They're
time it was
still up.
ever released to the internet. So, we're talking about Ukraine. We're getting the videos we're getting out are people shopping, people going about their business. We see evidence that something happened because, good Lord, what destroyed that tank?
Tank.
That
Thank you very much.
devastating.
Exactly. But I saw a lot of
You know,
bullet holes in that
some
tank.
things
I
are-
wasn't sure that tanks would receive bullet holes. And that's one thing that kind of shocked me because I was looking at that tank going, wait, there are bullet holes in that. But I didn't mention anything at the time because we were talking about something else and that sort of shit. But I noticed there were fucking bullet holes in that tank.
Hold on, Mike. Angel, what video is Violet Luna talking about? She said, I thought you guys were going to show Angel's video.
Well, I was trying to get you to share it from your chat to your main chat.
I don't have control of it. He does.
No, but where did you actually chat me?
You shared Telegram chat to your main.
Oh yeah, I was having problems with the Telegram chat because I'm not that fluid and all that stuff, and I was actually lucky I could actually share a screen.
I got it.
Yeah, because I put it at the bottom.
All right.
Am I going to bring up your Telegram again? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but I got to take me a second here to find my. I got a lot of. Okay, so, and then you said you left a comment.
I just put it in your chat, and it shouldn't be unless people are active in there. It should be at the very, bottom.
Right. Yeah. Well. Okay. So I got to find the other follow the Cabal chat. Give me a second. Telegram, not Red Pill. Lisa. I've got so many channels, and it doesn't. It's not like it actually gives me.
Yeah. See, that's exactly what I was thinking. If they had bullet holes and they weren't real tanks, because there's also video of those machine guns that they're holding are actually cardboard cutouts. They're not real machine guns. They just look real from a certain angle. But when you look at them from another angle and you realize that it's not a full weapon. Okay. So it's all make believe.
Okay. I got it. All right. And then, okay, with the cross, you're talking about the one with the cross?
No, it's way down the bottom on the first one.
I did the cross video.
I know which one you're talking about. There it is. There it is. Now it's on my channel.
Oh, just hold on. The Screen Keepers is mine. I have a personal little forest here, and so I was actually watching, and I couldn't kill the roach right in front of me because I was in the middle of the stream, and it bugged the fuck out of me. And I saw the little bastard fly over there, and then I've got plenty of stuff around here because I had to generate my own piece, which was getting away from the rest of reality. But that's a whole nother story. It is very peaceful.
Yeah, that's the frogs chirping outside. I got the door open, a little chilly, but the frogs are chirping outside.
Oh, that might be that too as well.
Yeah, sorry. But anyway, so the video of the 75 casualties and this dead guy's like, oh, I can't breathe. It's on my it's on the. So
but we all saw that. That's also on Angel's Facebook. I saw that one as well. He posted that one. I'm like, that was so hilarious.
Violet Luna wanted to see it, so it's a 10-second video. So
okay, were you able to actually upload it to yours?
Yeah, it's there.
It's on your Telegram.
Yeah, just all the way to the bottom.
All the way to the bottom. All right, so I will get down there. And is it what the I ran to the store leader? Is that it? No, further down. Sorry.
Hit the arrow button.
It was way down. Oh, this one. All right, cool. So I will pause this and hold on. No, all right. Still figuring this shit out. Hold on. All right, so here we go, folks.
Look,
we're going to use the at least 59 people killed, at least 149 people wounded. Those numbers are going to go up. There's just no question about that. I mean, you have fierce fighting in a number of locations around the country. You mentioned Chernobyl. Russian forces quickly overtaking that area. We understand they are still in control. The other thing that went down today that was of huge importance was Russian paratroopers went into an airfield 15 miles outside of Kyiv, and for a short period of time this afternoon, they held.
That is so fucking hilarious. The wind was blowing the sheet off of him, and so he was trying to hold it back down because the wind was blowing it up. That is, play it one more time. Absolutely, this was funny.
We're going to use the at least 59 people killed, at least 149 people wounded. Those numbers are going to go up. There's just no question about that. I mean, you have.
Don't worry, guys. I got it.
Locations around the country. You mentioned Chernobyl. Just quickly overtaking that area. We understand they are still in control. The other thing that went down today that was of huge importance was Russian paratroopers went into an airfield.
You good?
Miles
hold here the corner. Hold the corner. Hold the corner. We're good. Cut. Oh my God. So much fake shit going on. Oh, this world.
That's karma too. That's karma right there.
Yeah, but it didn't even look like normal wind. It looked like something was physically lifting up that plastic sheet.
Yeah, because nobody else was having that experience except him.
Exactly. So that was just bizarre. But we had to see that. That's the way things are going now. So Luna, you got the video. The frog. All right. I wish we had more frogs. And yes, you can't make that shit up. Absolutely. But
if you guys are not following my channel, follow the Cabal. There's no spam on there. There's no bullshit. It's just
you just have to download Telegram. I would not recommend Telegram on a cell phone because it will chew up your memory like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, I don't have that issue. But.
Exactly. So because I download everything and I've got like 150 channels that I watch on Telegram, so I reserve that to my computer where I can actually handle it. You got Santa Surfing, you got Dan Scavino, and you've got all these others that.
And there's a little bit of a learning curve with Telegram. You got to figure things out, unless you go to tutorials or what have you, because it's a different form.
They're all different platforms, and they're all, you got to figure them out. You got to figure everything out, and it's just. I'm getting too fucking old to be learning 20 different platforms like I did 10 years ago. I mean, I've got an avatar on Second Life. I swear. I was there. When that shit first opened up, I was fucking there. And so, anything that popped up, I was on it. I was on our Orkut, I was on MySpace. I was on all of those. I'm on Minds. I'm on BitChute. I'm on Rumble. I'm everywhere. But at the same time, it's like keeping up with all that stuff is just too much at times. And it's easier to focus on one source and then just trust that one source. I'd love to be able to trust just watch X22 and I'm done. No, because he's got his own perspective on it. I mean, I used to watch SGT a lot, but he has his own version that he pushes, and there are some things. Some of his information is okay, but it's not really what I'm interested in. Then you got And We Know, which has got some great stuff, but he's got his own perspective, and then you got Red Pill, and he's got his own strident little perspective going on there. And so we watch all these, and you have to get, and Santa Surfing, holy shit, she goes on some squirrel moments like motherfucker. There's lots of good information there, but at the same time, she'll go squirrely every once in a while, and people will write it off. And so many times you have to, and Marf, holy shit, every night, but it's still, he's got his own fear point. He's got his own topics that he focuses on, and other topics don't get covered.
And to do that, I mean, you've got to have your own website. Then you've got to, upload it to YouTube and to Facebook or not Facebook.
Absolutely. No, but yeah, you can do that as well. For example,
you got to do it all at the same time, managing the chat in each one, and then managing the donations in each one.
Absolutely. And it's a lot of,
and then you got
a lot of work for nothing.
It's a nightmare. It's a freaking nightmare. And I was hoping when Truth Social came out that it would come out, like more like Twitch or more like Twitch, because Twitch has got a decent chat on it, and then it's got decent video on it. So you can look up videos and you can comment and all that other fun stuff. And because ideally YouTube the style that YouTube has is freaking awesome if it had
It was.
a chat platform to go with it. But so
Well, the thing is,
anyway,
we're at the time limit, but the thing is that I started out on Rumble, and I was, had some things, and that's fine. I didn't do that much. I didn't expect that much. But then all of a sudden, I got over onto YouTube, and I saw the amount of traffic and how it exploded, and so many more people seeing it and all that kind of stuff. And that's why I ended up transferring over here more or less because of the traffic, because it's easier to use. There's more things that you can actually put onto it. There's different things that you can modify that you can't necessarily do. BitChute is a fucking nightmare to do half that stuff. That's why I've only got 5 episodes over there, because they uploaded them all in different orders, and I had a sequential order that I was doing, trying to build up a certain point, and it all got lost on BitChute, rumbled up, just messed up. And so all of them have their own little quirks and twitches. And YouTube really has a lot of the benefits. The problem is, your frog is competing with my crickets. It's a good nature show. It's the way to do it. Monkey Works would be good but are they talking about what the?
She was brushing legs at her hair.
No, I think they're talking about the my cockroach that flew through the air and so it just got them to thinking 2 inches. Yeah, well, this one was pretty damn close. It was about 1.5 inches. Dude, it was a big one, and that motherfucker flew.
I got an AM spray.
Yeah, well, we're at 3 hours, so you were asking for a limit. That's about it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Mad Pogue and Mud Rabbit, you were in the chat a lot. Thank you, Violet. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, 61, and everyone else who showed up. I appreciate it. One of the things that I didn't enjoy about my own personal videos when I was taping them, I wasn't ever sure. It was just me doing what I was scripting to do, and I never knew who was watching or who. There was no real interaction. It wasn't the same thing. Working in a group and working with a chat has been an eye opener, and I've been doing this for about a year and something, and it's been, interacting with the chats and interacting with panels and everything else is a whole lot different than just taping your own little video, and it's been an excellent experience. I appreciate all of you for coming along on this wonderful mystery ride that we're fucking rolling on. So Carl's telegram is Fall of the Cabal.
Got it. I got it. I can do this one. Boom. There it is. I was ahead.
There you go. There you go. All right. And with that, thank you, everyone. Angel, you got any last words for tonight? I'll see you next week. You're muted, buddy.
What?
No, I'm. No, you caught me off guard.
Now he's frozen. He went from muted to frozen.
It was, but I thought it was like the last words, like we're not going to ever, no, last words for tonight and that sort of thing. Any last ideas before we end this 3 hour? It was a nice trip. It was very enjoyable. And just like Mad Poop said, it was a very fast 3 hours. It was a very fast 3 hours, and I appreciate all of you for being able to do that. So with that, thank you very much. See you next Tuesday. You guys went through a time shift. We did not here in Brazil, and so I had to start all my shit 1 hour earlier, which pushed it and made things kind of squirrely and that sort of thing. I was off today, but it went well. So yes, thank you to everyone, and we'll see you next week, 7:30 Eastern Time. Thank you very much.
Love you guys. Hi, Alyssa. Everybody else. Peggy. Mud Rabbit. Violet Luna, whoever you are.
Exactly. There we go. Thanks, folks.
See y'all next week.